flames or the ashes. The spirits light up the night.
Now, we're live from the Untold Radio Network. It's Untold Radio AM with Monster Quest producer, host Doug Hajicek, and co-host Jeff Perrella Jr. Untold Radio AM is going live right now.
Hello.
Hey, Jeff, I hear you're sick.
Yeah, I got a little bit of cold or flu or something, so apologies if I turn my mic off or camera off.
Last I heard, you never get sick, but that's
I don't
okay.
get. It's been at least 3. I don't remember. It's been at least 3 years since I've been sick.
Well,
People don't believe me, but K through 12 in school, I didn't miss one day of school. I didn't get sick, not a single day. K through 12.
well, good.
I didn't get really sick until my freshman year of college.
Well, anyhow,
Yeah.
I hope you can make it through.
Oh, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm a trooper. I apologize for if my cough drops clacking around, but I got to suck on something here. So.
All right. Welcome to episode 242, everybody, and our highly esteemed live audience.
Yep.
Which is growing by the second.
Yep.
Tonight we've got a really great guest.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll kind of blow your mind.
Yep.
Author researcher Michael W. Cook, and he wrote the book The Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
How was that name open?
That's amazing.
Bigfoot. I love it. Volume
You
1.
got it. Yeah.
So apparently it's going to be volume 2. And this is basically, he was on a teenage fishing trip, came face to face with a Bigfoot. And when they looked each other in the eyes, it changed his life. And we'll hear more about this coming up.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah. So, and I think what's his tagline? Something about impossible. I can't remember.
He's defeated the impossible. I think that's what he says.
He met the impossible.
Met the impossible. That's what it was.
Met the impossible. So speaking of impossible, we'll cover some other impossible things tonight. But I want to introduce Jim Deltoso.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim is going to be an extra honorary guest co-host tonight.
Amazing guy.
Yeah, and he'll maybe help Jeff out with his throat.
Yeah, he can talk more than me. That's great.
And he'll match me. I'm just getting over a cold too. I mean, it's been blowing my nose. I was blowing my nose. And it's like, gosh, they don't ever go away.
It's day 2. I woke up yesterday feeling terrible, and today I had a hard time getting out of bed today.
Well, Jim is a man. He's got the brain the size of the Golden Gate Bridge. I'm not joking.
Yep.
He's my adopted brother. Right, Jim? Nod your head. Yep. He's my adopted brother. And he's basically nonstop thinking about science and all sorts of just amazing, bizarre things. And this guy's had a life. But anyhow, let's welcome Jim.
Yep. And here he is. Hi, Jim.
Hi. You know what? I got to tell you something, that your graphics opening is fantastic.
Oh, good.
There was big and spectacular right in front of me, and it got me ready.
All right.
So I don't know where you got that from, but get some more of that.
Well, anyhow, Jim is also a member of the White Hair Club, but he's got whiter hair than I do. He's got really white hair. People call me the polar bear.
Yeah. I was going to dye it gray, so maybe I'd look younger, but no.
Dye it gray, yeah. Exactly. Yvette likes it because she said she can always spot me in a crowd.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where I am. She can just look around the store. Boom, there I am. It's my hair glows. Mm-hmm. Anyhow, my hair looks blonde compared to yours, Jim.
Blonde is good.
I'm just saying. Oh my God.
My hair used to be black, like black, and it turned gray so fast.
Yeah, yours is gray.
Do we have a color scale of Bigfoot hair? What's the range?
Yeah,
brown, black, tan, blue, white.
They don't have blue hair, but they're definitely gray ones and white ones.
Yeah, when they get older, their hair which gets gray. They've been seen with gray or white hair.
Absolutely.
Gray, reddish, brown, black.
In fact, one that we saw, me and Yvette both saw, in the daytime had speckled gray in its back and shoulders and arms. It was turning gray, but it was kind of speckled. It was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So anyhow, what else we got? We've got other things going on here. We're going to do clips.
Yep.
We're going to do audience trivia.
Mm-hmm.
I won't give away, but I'll probably send somebody a free no charge T-shirt.
Cool.
Maybe enough of that crap T-shirt. The one with Untold Radio logo on it. Maybe we'll send one of those out. And by the way, you got the address for the guy that won the statue?
Mm-hmm.
Good,
yep,
because the statue's still sitting here.
Yeah, Alex and Sophia should have the address. I sent it to them. They responded.
Well,
they got
someone's got to come pick it up. I'm not.
Oh, well, there's that.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
So anyhow, if you're out there, we will mail it out. I'll make a point it gets picked up tomorrow.
Nope, I do. They have the address.
Yes. And so let's go ahead and talk about something new coming to the Untold Radio Network, and that's called Deep Searches. I'm sure a lot of you have seen the Bigfoot Journal. It's a monthly kind of a news show that we have on the Untold Radio Network, but they have a new segment starting, I think, this Friday, and they're basically cover actual field work.
Cool.
So these are going to be special shows that will be on. We do have a clip.
Yep.
Do you want to play that clip, Jeff?
Sure. Give me 1 second here.
All right.
Details are, of course, scant. The figure is, at the very least, human-sized and moving on 2 legs. Whatever it is, looks to be a solid black or dark brown color, which then stops and makes a deep grunt that sends the man running.
I've known about it for quite some time. It was up in one of those videos. It doesn't get the attention that it probably deserves.
A whitish, gray, Bigfoot-like creature. This is where the video was apparently filmed.
It's amazing how much fear can just limit what someone can do. People lie about this stuff.
A tall, 2-legged, dark creature just walked straight across.
The eyes and like a human face. Exactly the same. Identical looking signatures.
Prospect of it being as big as it could have been. It could have been watching me.
So there you go.
Cool.
And that's brought by Mike Lucci and the Bigfoot Journal Boys.
That'd be cool. So Friday night, 7:15 Eastern. That'll be cool.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of it's really, I think, the first non-podcast that's going to be on the network.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, really. What else we got? Monday, remember the historic storm. Jim, did you hear about our historic Midwest storm predictions that they had?
I did. In fact, I was even calling people in Michigan and Minnesota and upstate New York just in case they weren't watching the same TV I was.
Yeah.
It's all over. There you all were.
Yeah, and they were predicting catastrophic. Category 5, 4, and 5 tornadoes, long track. Everybody thought they're going to lose their house.
Oh, yeah.
Especially up here in the Twin Cities because it was tracking to hit Minneapolis and blah, 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 blah. We didn't even get any rain.
No. Well, it's funny. Sunday night, a customer came in the store, and that's what he does for a living is fix roofs. So he was actually excited because he thought he was going to be really busy. He gave me his card. He's like, call me when you get hit. And nothing happened. So that's good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They were predicting giant hail and baseballs. Oh, yeah. It was just the end of the world. So I sent you a little video clip.
Yeah.
It kind of amplifies how we all felt.
Yep, here we go.
Video too. Yeah, go ahead.
Grab the children!
That's it.
Yeah.
It was a letdown,
Yeah.
but it was a good letdown. We were all very happy. And there were some tornadoes, but I didn't really hear
Not
much.
close to us.
I think a barn got damaged.
Yeah, pretty mild
Not
up here. We
much.
rained a little bit in the morning, and that was it. But it sure was hyped up to be a big deal.
And you know a lot about weather, don't you, Jim?
I have worked in the supercomputer area and doing simulation of weather when I was running Supercomputer
How did
Center.
I know?
Some of our customers were from NCAR, the National Center for Atmospheric Research, and NOAA. Wanted to use our flavor of supercomputer for simulating. And I learned a lot from them and watched some pretty cool graphics. The possibilities.
Yeah. Well, this storm,
Possibilities.
apparently all the conditions were right, but they said that if this cap is formed and the updrafts can't get high enough, there probably won't be much action. And apparently that's what happened. So I can't blame them, but on the same token, they had the crap scared out of all of us.
Yes.
They did. I'm not joking. we were profoundly scared. And let's go ahead and do, I've got just, I think, 2 or 3 news stories. Something like
just
that.
a couple. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do these.
Some
And
news?
they're good. Yeah.
Okay, here
Let's
we
do it.
go with the news bumper.
Untold radio news that can be a bit weird is right now.
Have you ever heard of the color Olo? Or I guess it would be Olo, right, Jeff?
I happen to tell you, send me your notes.
Have you heard of the color Olo?
It's a new color.
You have heard of it?
Yeah, I have heard of it.
Of course you
Just
have.
a week ago. Just a week ago.
Oh, a week ago. Okay, well,
Yeah.
I want to talk about this.
And I think it was only discovered a week or two before that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Are we talking about the same thing of a
Yes.
new spectrum of color that's
Yes.
available to humans?
Yep.
Yeah, and it is interesting. The evolution of consciousness is related to how many colors humans are able to see. And I read something a few years ago that was quite interesting about how many colors were available to cavemen and to the Persians and to the
true.
Renaissance era, and how many colors and how did they get them and what made them happen. And I always thought that was very interesting, that it's a monitor. It's a canary in the mine.
Well, they didn't.
Consciousness is developing.
Well, the cave people did not have a Pantone chart, right? They didn't have any kind of color chart. So everything they saw was in nature or they didn't see it.
Yeah.
So anyhow, let me read this little article, which is quite kind of interesting. The headline says, the profound experience of seeing a new color that's called Olo. And apparently it cannot be found in the Pantone color chart, can only be experienced in a cramped 9x13 room in Northern California. It says apparently that small space in a lab in UC Berkeley campus contains a large contraption of lenses and other hardware on a table. In order to see Olo, you need to scooch up to the table, chomp down on a bite plate, and keep your head as steady as you can. A laser will be fired right into your eyes. That doesn't sound fun.
Nope.
Targeting more than 1,000 of your cone cells. The scientists will have mapped the location of your retina in advance. The lasers then will activate your color vision like nothing in the natural world. So it says a small square of exotic color will appear just off center from the focal point of your vision against a background of gray. Blah. That's a lot. So don't expect to see Olo. Jim, do you remember what it kind of looked like? What would Olo resemble?
I looked like it was closer to a gold color.
Okay.
It's in the yellow gold spectrum, but it also had some visual harmonics is what I read. I read it, I think it was Nature Today or Science Today, the daily news bulletins that were out. And they did have a large bitmap image that showed what the colors were and what the wavelengths were that were registering with the cones, which were new to the brain, but that it was more like the color gold or gold brass, but there was a little bit of a green highlight to it, which was unexpected.
So where in the visual spectrum, is it like on the edge of the spectrum, or is it kind of in the middle? Where is it on the visual spectrum?
It seems like it's in the middle. It's
in the middle?
It's in yellow.
Weird.
And but it's like notes on a piano. There are specific Pantone color tones that are notes on it, like a piano scale. And then there's like the space in between a B and a C note. We don't have something on the piano. We do on a trombone. So they got a trombone for color that'll play, will demonstrate, will do wavelengths that are not out there in our color spectrum on a day-to-day.
Wow. This sounds like an experiment you would have dreamed up, Jim.
Yeah.
It's kind of right down your alley. I don't know
why.
Okay,
well, that's
got your name written all over it.
But thank you.
Some people have mentioned UFOs have kind of an undescribable color at times.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Have you heard that before?
Yeah, I have. I've talked to a lot of people who have seen unusual things, and then I've talked to people where I have a particular interest as people that have seen ETs face to face, or have been abducted, or have been unconsciously moved into their realm, and they wake up there, like happened with Travis.
Well, we're going to have to pull you out of the co-host seat and to turn you into a guest again and have a show about UFOs, alien abductions, and all that stuff.
Although I like being on a show about Bigfoot and being able to ask questions.
Good.
In areas that I am unfamiliar with what the answer is.
Good. Well, you come to the right place. Everything here is unfamiliar. It's untold.
Yeah.
I have some news here. Unfortunately, I just got a text from our guest, and he is stuck at work. So I think it's just going to be the three of us tonight.
Does it mean he's stuck the whole night?
That's what he said.
The whole night?
But he said he's in healthcare, and he said half the staff called in sick for second shift, so he's stuck.
Well, aren't we glad that we've got Jim?
Thank God for Jim.
That's right. I feel like I'm at the right place at the right time.
You are.
Absolutely, you are.
Otherwise, it'd just be me and Jeff just looking at each other.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. All right. Well, let's move on here. And why don't you text him back and say, well, if you do manage to get off early, you can pop in at any moment. The fun of being in healthcare. So Jim was one of the original investigators. It's how I knew of Jim, of the Phoenix Lights. And it's when Jim got his world debut on television all over the world. As he was the forensic investigator, looking at the video, trying to determine what size it was it real, and so on. So that's how I came to look up to him.
Situation, the Phoenix Lights. I mean, I've been involved in UFO photo examining for a long time, 20 years, but at that point. And it just happened to be in my own hometown. And I had done television shows, local TV. In fact, the year before, I was on every Friday on the local Fox channel doing what were called the 10 Files. And we would be on after the news and before the X-Files. Did the 10 Files.
Yeah, I remember seeing it on just like every show you could ever comprehend. Because that was a big deal back in the 90s. It was huge.
Yeah, it was. And so I
don't know if you knew this, but I went down to Phoenix with Stan Friedman to investigate the Phoenix Lights.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we went down there, and I don't know why I didn't try to look you up, but I should have.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so jealous you got to know him. I met him very briefly. What an amazing guy. Just brilliant.
Yeah, I like Stan. He was one of a kind.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's for
smart
sure.
and funny.
Yeah.
He had that.
He was so down to earth.
Yeah.
And the story how I met him is weird because I had read his book, the Majestic 12 book, read his book. And I thought, well, this would make a really good doc. Called him up, and we visited for quite a while, probably an hour and a half, 2 hours on the phone. And the next day, there was a knock on the door at home. And I live in Minnesota. He lives in
New Brunswick.
New Brunswick, Canada. And all of a sudden, there's a knock on the door. And I open the door, and there's Stan. And he goes, "Hey, Doug."
Hey.
He said, "I had a layover. I was out west and had a layover in Minneapolis, so I thought I'd just,
good.
boot up here." And he said,
Love it when that happens.
that was cool. We had a great time. He stayed for a whole week.
Wow.
And we had a wonderful time. Anyhow, that's how we got to know each other.
Yeah, he was amazing.
But I want to tell this really weird story that happened while he was up. I just said, I was like on the third day, I said, "Hey, Stan, I know the DJ over at WCCO AM. I said, I'll give Tim a call and see if we can get you on today just for sights." Yeah, that'd be great. He said, "Oh, today's the 50th anniversary of the Lonnie Zamora case." Do you remember that Lonnie Zamora case, Jim?
Yeah.
With the police?
Yeah.
And so, okay, great.
New
So
Mexico.
New Mexico.
Crazy story.
So we head down to the studio, and lo and behold, Tim calls us into the studio right away. We go on the air cold. We don't even get a chance to visit ahead of time. And we're talking, whatever, and Stan's doing his normal pro UFO stuff. And all of a sudden, Stan mentions this is the 50th, whatever anniversary of the Lonnie Zamora case, whatever date it was. And all of a sudden, Tim Russell chimes in and he goes, "Well, I was there. I witnessed that thing."
Amazing.
And Stan's going, "What?"
Yeah.
He goes, "Oh, yeah, me and my dad, my mom, and my sister, we were there. We were with Lonnie." And Stan's going, "What are you talking? What?" He said, "Well, we were on vacation, and we saw the smoke, and we saw the police car down in this little whatever, Lahar, whatever it is, and they pulled in there, and apparently there was stuff still on fire. When they pulled in there, and there was Lonnie all shook up, and his dad offered to help him, and all this crap, and then everything was fine, whatever, he was okay, but they left." But he had never told anybody about that. So this was live on the air. So what are the chances of that happening live on the air on the day of the anniversary?
Yeah.
Crazy.
All right.
Just, just out of the blue. And it was a weird coincidence. Anyhow, it's a good, interesting story. All right, what's our next story?
The next story is the conductive.
Yes. It's a bacteria that conducts electricity like wire.
Yes.
So throw up photo 2. This is apparently an artist's rendering of what they think this life form looks like. So it says that scientists discover a remarkable life form that conducts electricity like wire. So experts found a life form that conducts electricity. I'm trying to skip over some of the boring crap. It says, today human society is powered by an artificial electricity generated by turbines, nuclear reactors, photovoltaics. But the first investigations into the wonders of electricity were biological in origin. Obviously, we all know about the electric eel. Are there any other animals that make electricity, Jim?
Yeah, fireflies.
Do they actually make it's bioluminescence?
Yeah, it's a photoluminescence.
Okay.
And there are photons that are generated by an electrical pulse.
Really?
The bacteria is actually not just conducting the electricity, but in former Stanford professor, now at Arizona State University, Dr. Bruce Rittman, has been studying and demonstrating the ability of certain microbes and bacteria to generate electricity and to then move it around in these coil cylinder clusters to contain the electricity like a battery.
Wow.
And a lot of the really interesting work about this has been done by a Brit named Rupert Sheldrake. And Rupert studies consciousness and studies electricity and bacteria and studies extraterrestrials, and really interesting fellow. And he has been lecturing for, I'd say, over 20 years now about the higher the degree of consciousness, not intelligence necessarily, they're similar but different. The higher the degree of consciousness, the more likely the object is to be able to create or transfer electricity.
Interesting. Well, how much electricity does the human body make?
Well, the brain is making electricity. We measure that with a lie detector test is measuring electricity.
Okay.
That's moving through the body. One of the things, and the breathing and galvanic skin response is measuring the flux, voltage up, voltage down, and then resistance up, ohms and electricity moving around in the body, which is being generated by our sugar activity and our muscle activity and the piezo, sometimes pronounced PCO, electric effect. That quartz
quartz being vibrated, yeah.
Yeah, quartz being vibrated makes electricity, and vice versa is true. So I think that it's going on in a lot of places. We just aren't looking there or paying attention there, or don't have the instrumentation trained on it to actually measure it and see it. But in University of Western Kentucky, that's their project from the TVA, the Tennessee Valley Authority, going back years and years, back during the Manhattan Project, of doing their part of studying atomic electricity. And they are the leading people in the last few years demonstrating the electricity that is generated by bacteria, including gut bacteria that is in humans. And that gut bacteria that can be sending the voltage up the vagus nerve. It's possible. That's where is that coming from?
By the way, just so you know, he has had no warning on any topics we're going to discuss.
Yeah.
That's why I said his brain is as big as the Golden Gate Bridge, and I'm not joking.
Huh.
Anyhow, but let me read a little bit more of this.
Okay.
We can talk further. It says, but the very first investigations into the wonders of electricity were biological in origin. Thales of, I hate to butcher these words, Miletus, considered to be the first scientist in the Western world, pondered on the cause of static electricity and the electric prowess of eels, inspired Alessandro Volta, obviously, that's what voltage must be named after, Alessandro Volta, to invent the first battery. He thinks he did. I have a feeling that was invented by Egyptians.
Way earlier, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
For sure.
But into this battery, it says, although we're involved into Volta's first fish-inspired battery, the world of bioelectricity still has a lot to offer us. That couldn't be more apparent than this new study published this week in the Journal of Applied and Environmental Microbiology, which details the discovery of a new cable bacteria built from a rod-shaped cells attached end-to-end on the central Oregon coast. Apparently they named it CA. I don't know what that means. But I don't know if you had heard about this. I don't know what's special about this bacteria. Do you know what's special about it? They don't really get into a lot of details.
I do not have further information about that.
Okay.
Interesting.
I
But,
guess if you could, since bacteria do breed quick, and if
Yeah.
it conducts electricity really good, maybe they can create a biocomputer, I guess, or some kind of battery, you got to feed it with a little sugar water or something. Who knows? I don't know. A lot of cool science going on right now. God, it really has advanced. So do you believe that the first battery was done by the Egyptians or even earlier civilization, or do you think it was this gentleman, Mr. Volta?
I think maybe Volta discovered something about it, but I feel real sure that some of the ancient technologies had to include batteries.
Yeah.
And had to include capacitors and discharge capacitors and rectifiers, particularly for cutting the rocks. Some of the more recent discoveries about deep devices under the Great Pyramid. But even years ago, further out, going hundreds of feet down, of these giant slabs and unusual shapes of like, what are they making? What is that doing? And just to be able to cut and polish rock like that requires a tremendous amount of electricity.
Yeah.
Power to do that.
Well, do you have a theory on the pyramids, Jim?
Well, I've been through a few of them. I am interested in what's going on with that, but I think it was a long time ago. I don't think maybe
Agreed.
the Egyptians built it, or maybe they did some interior decorating or took over,
remodeling.
One of their people came here and did something.
Yeah.
But I think that it's far beyond our technology of today, and just in how simple it was. That there's not a lot of devices left behind. There's not power generators and batteries left laying around, or cables or connectors or wires, or a lot of things that are mission critical to making electricity and running tools back then. None of that stuff's around still. So
yeah, it's
obviously
so
do that.
fascinating. And I don't know. I keep hearing about some kind of LiDAR images of like chambers below the pyramids that go
Yeah,
really
that's
deep.
a similar to LiDAR, but it's a satellite radar image that colliding waves make a new wave, like throwing rocks in the pond, one way to the left, one way to the right. They're sending out ripples, but as they approach each other and they get near each other, they make moire patterns. They make new patterns.
Sure.
And those patterns are useful.
Makes sense.
Yeah, in doing things. So not sure if one person or 1,000 persons, what it takes to understand that technology from the past. I keep thinking, okay, I'm going to watch one more documentary. I'm going to read things from one more person, and then I'm going to have the aha moment.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get it. And I don't think it works like that. I think it takes a bunch of people getting together, like the three right here, to start something off that you can then click and send it back and forth, becoming, as we like to call it, being telepathetic, and spreading that understanding between others. Like, how many people does it take to make a nuclear reactor or to make a fusion reactor?
Right.
Thousands.
Yeah, that's true. See, I was going to mention.
I think it's all true from back then. I just don't know what it is. It's above my pay grade for now, but I'm meeting more people all the time.
I was going to mention, Jeff and our audience, if there's somebody who would like to take Michael's place and come on tonight, talk about Bigfoot, you can do so. All you do is let us know, say yes in the thing. I'll pick somebody. you can come on even without video. Since you're getting caught off guard, you can just come on with your audio.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep your camera off. And so Jeff could send you a link, but let's see if anybody wants to join us.
Sure.
And also, if you have questions for Jim, the brain, all you got to do is put them in caps. I don't care it doesn't matter what the damn question is.
Huh.
Right, Jim?
Man.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'll give it a try.
Yeah,
I'm not really that smart. I just read a lot of magazines.
God. Oh my God! Understatement.
Piled up beside me, and I take a look at
we're all in the presence of a great genius. Trust me. He remembers things
I don't feel like that.
Well, you are.
Even William Robinson that just sent us a message. I mean, he was, going there right along with us, in that the brain does generate electricity. It's electroencephalograms. It's measuring the waves and the frequencies and the wave shape and all of that's going on in our little brain.
Isn't the lateral line in sharks involve electricity too, if memory serves? I think the lateral line in sharks detects electricity too.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
All right, Flat Rockland. You don't need a camera. You gotta have to have your phone. You don't need a camera. You can shut your damn camera off, even if you can just do audio. So if somebody wants to come on, I'm going to say it a few times. Now's your chance. You can come in.
We got a
and
few
just
there.
Join us. We do. Who?
Yeah. Got William Robinson. We got Carl Supp.
Let's get to. Well, let's do this. Let's get William on.
Okay.
Send one to Flat.
Okay, I don't know that I have.
That sounds good.
So you're going to have to send Jeff.
Yeah. Send me here. I'm going to type it right now. Send me your email, or send me just an email, and I'm typing it into the chat right
Jeff
now.
will post
Jeff P
his
at
email.
untoldradio.am.com. I just typed it in the chat. So
Somebody asked whether you know anything about salt, and I can only imagine yes. Jim, what do you know about salt?
NaCl.
What does that mean?
NaCl, sodium chloride, NaCl.
Oh, okay.
It's a slang term. Well, salt's a big thing. It's important in our bodies.
Yeah, you think.
Important part of our nutrition. Of
So
course, certain cardiac
it,
patients and others aren't supposed to have an excess of salt, but the cell salts are what makes our glands and our perineural system alive and happening, is communicating through those salt cells. And I like Himalayan salt as the new flavor du jour. I like Celtic sea salt. That's actually, someone just sent a message here about that. That's really my favorite lately, is Irish Celtic salt.
really, I haven't tried that.
Well, somebody mentioned sodium and chloride, if they're separated, can kill you on their own.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And why is it that when they're put together, they're good for you?
Yeah, that's the energy coming together and forming, like we talked about the rock in the pond. The ripple comes out, the energy signal comes out from this one, then it comes out from that. When they hit in the middle and they make a whole new thing that may be destructive. The wave may go up and down and be a standing wave or a shear wave, or do something brand new other than just moving like nice little ripples, there. And that happens, chemically speaking. Years ago, I became acquainted with a fella. In fact, he sponsored the grammar school I went to school at Virginia, Walter Russell. And he had created a periodic chart that you may have seen that is a spiral instead of a rubric cube. Instead of a big cube with rows and columns, it's actually a spiral. And the way that the chemicals interact with each other is seen in this kind of wave-shaped grouping, and makes more sense than when you're trying to lift little squares, off of a crossword puzzle and snap them together and make a new compound. There's an actor also, Trevor Howard, as of late, that has become a journeyman messenger about the periodic chart, the spiral periodic chart. And I think that's key to understanding the next deeper levels of science and physics mixing with biology, because there's just more involved than we thought.
I think we're going to learn a lot more from generalists versus specialists. I think any big steps are going to require pretty broad knowledge as opposed to deep knowledge. It's my thinking anyways. Where'd Doug go?
I'm here. Did you get any emails?
Yep, I got William, and I just sent out to William and Flat.
Oh, great. Okay. So it's going to send you a link. You click the link, and then you got to enter the studio, and then we'll be able to, see you or at least hear you. We'll see your name. Type your name in there so we know who we're talking to, and then we'll bring you on.
Gotta quit hacking here.
This is just what do we call this? A freestyle show.
Yeah, sure, freestyle. Why not?
Yeah, freestyle.
There's no rules. We can do whatever we want.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right, let's get into some trivia.
Sure.
We'll see how smart Jim is.
Right, let me run. I got a fun bumper here. Let me run the bumper here quick.
It's now time for Untold Radio AM Audience Trivia. Who wants to play?
All right.
So, okay. The topic is going to be on horses. And this is going to be for our audience, but you guys can play along because neither of you have the answers, and people can either believe you or not believe you. So that'll be up to them. And we have somebody that's just popped in. Let's go ahead and bring in Rusty.
Hello.
Hey, guys.
Hey, how
I'm
are
actually
you?
William, a.k.a. Rusty.
Oh, William. Okay. Well, what do you want us to call you? William?
Rusty's fine.
Rusty.
Either one's
Okay.
fine. Yeah, I've been called much worse. So.
Okay.
What's the worst you've been called?
Doctor of rock and roll.
Okay. Well, that sounds like the best you could
Actually,
be called.
a recently retired physician with a expertise in oncology.
Oh.
Really? What a combination. Yeah, Jim used to hang out with all these famous bands like the Moody Blues and Ambrosia and all sorts of people.
Well, I wish it was hanging out. Actually, it was a fee-paid occupation. I was renting sound and lighting equipment to lots and lots of bands and recording time. The hangouts, yeah, there were hangouts, but high tech, on time, every night without fail, sounds just like the record. It is a tough act to do every day, and that's what we did.
Yeah, very
Like
cool. So what instrument do you play, William?
Mostly bass guitar, but regular guitar, keyboards a little bit.
Oh,
Kind of sing. And yes, I used to work for a company back when I was in high school, much like Jim is talking about.
Yeah.
That supplied sound systems to touring acts. This was back in the 1970s.
Yeah.
So we would put up the sound equipment for the band according to their specifications when they came to town.
What region of the country were you in?
Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, boy. I used to live on Alsea Road in Memphis, Tennessee.
Sounds good. Yeah, I grew up there.
Long time ago.
I love Memphis.
Home
I love
of the Box Tops, but also home of Alex Chilton and Big Star.
I have a feeling you guys are going to find out you knew each other. Oh, jeez.
sorry.
I did know Alex Chilton. He went to Central High School in Memphis, and then he moved to New Orleans. And I live in New Orleans now.
Yeah.
So Alex was in New Orleans through Hurricane Katrina and had to be rescued. And then he just died a few years ago. I forget exactly when.
I loved Alex. He was fantastic. He was
Very
a real
talented.
wise old man in a teenager's body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was 16 when he recorded with the
The
box
letter.
drum.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Anyhow, let's.
Very good. Pick another city. Spin that wheel. Okay.
Let's do trivia.
Okay.
And this is going to be on horses, and these are kind of some weird horse questions. And did you know anything about horses, Jeff? Hell no.
Very little.
Very little. I figured. Okay, hang on.
That is outside of my realm of expertise.
I'm going to get my notes ready here. There we go. All right. And I don't know how to pronounce this. It's Przewalski, Przewalski. Przewalski's horse is the only true wild horse species still in existence. The only wild population is in what country? So that's the question. What country do these old species of wild horse still exist? Anybody want to guess? And like I said, I'm going to keep track of people who get the right answers. And if we get somebody that kind of pops out, I will then send them free. That's not a contest. I'll just send you a free T-shirt. We got Spain,
Well, we got
Brazil,
some answers here.
Poland.
Well,
Poland, Siberia, Spain.
You're
Brazil.
all wrong.
I'm thinking I vote for Ethiopia.
Ethiopia. Jeff?
I have no idea.
William?
I figured Africa, but beyond that, I couldn't.
I actually would have guessed Spain. I
Ah.
would have guessed Spain, but apparently that's wrong.
There we go. So Mike.
Oh, I bet that's it.
So I'm going to give Mike one. He just got it. Mongolia.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Okay.
their culture.
All right. Next. Horses use their ears, eyes, and what else to express their mood? They use their ears, their eyes, and what other organ on their body to express their mood? It's a tough one.
I just don't know. I don't know much about horses.
Could you repeat the question, please, Doug?
Okay. Horses use their ears, their eyes, and what else to express their mood?
Tail.
Okay, that's Jim's guess. Loretta says tail. Carl Sup says tail. Scott M says mouth. We got tail, nose. And Michael Robert looks like he got it right first. So Michael Robert, you got it right. It's their nostrils.
Oh.
Apparently you can tell a horse's mood by
Yeah,
what
they
they're
do.
doing with their nostrils.
That's right.
And of course, you got to look at their whole facial thing, but their nostrils are one of their main expressive things they do. All right. So I've got Michael down as one. Let's see. Pete, I think you were late on the nose. I think. I don't know. Jeff, help watch. Okay.
Little Robert Embry was the first one with nose.
Yeah. Okay. So I did that right.
Yep.
Horses will not lie down simultaneously. If you have two horses, they're both not going to lie down. Why is that? Why will two horses not lie down at the same time? Jim?
No horsing around on this one.
Okay. William?
No idea.
No idea. Jeff?
Other than just one looking out, all I can think of is just kind of, look out or something like that.
Oh, okay. Somebody got it. I got it. One is on guard. That is true.
That makes sense.
Oh.
So I like Ike. One.
I like
Okay,
that.
so we got three people tying. Okay. Vocalizations are highly important to horses. Examples: whinnying, neighing sounds. They're elicited when horses do what? When do they make these sounds?
I was coughing. I missed some of that.
So, weighing and neighing sounds happen when horses do what? Why do they make those sounds? If there's no people around, why do they make those sounds? Rusty?
When they're scared.
When they're scared, okay. That's good. You might be right. I'm not telling you if you are right. Jeff?
Well, it looks like we got some. I don't know. I guess I really have no idea. I don't know anything about horses.
I'm still waiting for the right answer.
Guess. There's some guesses here. You're seeing all the chat. Yeah, I really don't know. Some are
okay. I would say Steve. Steve got it right. When they communicate to other horses, when they meet other horses. So I've got you down, Steve, for 1.
So are we tied at 1 for like 4 people now? Are 4 people tied at 1?
It's fine. That's perfect.
Yeah, a lot of participation. That's good.
Like I said, you're not going to win anything, but I'm going to send you a free T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not winning it. I'm just going to mail it to you.
Not a contest.
Yeah, it's not a contest. Okay. There were no horses in Australia until what year? First person to put the right year down or close wins a point. Rusty, you have no idea, do you?
I would guess 17th century, but I couldn't narrow it down any more than that.
So 1700.
I'm going to guess like 1830. I think the English were there early 19th century. That's my guess. 1820s. I'm going to guess 1830.
1740. I'm going to time it out soon. So 1788, Michael got it.
Oh.
So, Michael, you have now 2 right. You are in the lead. All right. A horse's brain weighs around 623 grams. And that is half the weight of a human brain. Okay. And that is true or false. First person to put the right answer. Is that true or false?
I'll watch the chat here.
First person to put
it's definitely less than a human.
Got to put true or false. First,
false.
There we go. Eric said true. It's true.
Well, Eric.
Right. So
Human
Eric
brain is
got a
12
point.
to 1,500 grams.
Yeah, it says
1
there.
point for Eric.
Yeah, Eric got a point.
I'm surprised Brendan isn't on top of it. Brendan used to have horses. You should know all this stuff.
Yeah. All right. This is kind of a fun one. When foals are born, their hoofs are covered with a soft tissue to stop them from damaging their mother's birth canal. What is the name of this tissue around their hoofs called? First person to know it.
Oh, man, I just read about that, too, and I can't remember
Rusty,
what it is.
you want to take a stab?
No idea.
It's weird. It's weird looking, too. It's very weird looking.
Jim? Come on, Jim.
I know, but I don't talk about things I don't know about.
Okay, perfect. Now we know that. If Jim doesn't say anything, he knows nothing.
Well, I guess so far are keratin, velvet.
I told you earlier. There are things I know nothing about.
Velvet, keratin. It's got to be on my notes. Nobody got it right yet. Dr. Scholes. Nice.
Dr. Scholes, that's a good
John
one.
never stops being the humorous one, the witty one. Eric says mucus. Squatch Mama says
just read about this too. It's really weird looking.
Sandals. Come on. Somebody's got to get it. I'm going to look here. I know I had a whole bunch of names written down. They're not the main. No, I don't think anybody got it yet. Nope. Socks. Love it. Sleeve. Okay, I'm going to time it out. Future clue. Nice, Nick. Nice. Okay, it's called fairy slippers. Also called golden hoofs.
I just want a picture.
Full slipper, and they call them leaves sometimes, gills, or fingers.
Wow.
A lot of
Yeah, they're really weird looking.
Yeah.
But they're soft. They're soft, so they don't tear up the mother's.
Yeah, isn't that weird looking?
Canal.
Like an artichoke.
Yeah, if I didn't know anything about a horse and they were born with that, I'd go, whoop.
Oh yeah, you'd think it was a demon or something.
Put that one out of its misery.
Yeah.
The things that we learn.
Man, I can't quit hacking.
The earliest member of the horse family was Eohippus, dating back how many million years? First person to get it right.
AKA the Dawn horse. That's what that right name means.
Is that what it means?
You get the Dawn horse, yeah.
William, you want to try?
I have it in a book behind me, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
Earth to William?
I'm cheating. I'm looking it up.
No, you can't do that. No.
Oh, I see it, but I won't give it away.
You remind me of Alex. Okay.
20 million.
I don't think it's in the millions. I think it's in the hundreds of thousands.
40 million. We've got, Eric. Eric got it. Eric.
55 million? That long ago, huh?
Yep, Eric's got 2. You're tied with Michael.
That's not too long after dinosaurs. I didn't think it was that long ago.
40.
Yeah, the source I had said 40 to 55.
Plan for Reals, 15. Mary Jo said 15.
And dinosaurs are what, 60, 65 million years ago, something like that? I think 65. So.
Yeah, right after the dinosaurs, Eric said they had horses.
They were tiny. They were really small.
Okay, the record for the longest jump over water, key word over water, was held by a horse. I'm not going to name him, who jumped 27 feet, how many inches? 27 feet, how many inches? You got a first person to get the amount of inches. No, inches. I'm looking for an inch. I already gave away the 27 feet. 33, we've got.
That's
12.
interesting. Human long jumpers can jump farther than that.
Really?
Yeah, Olympic long jumpers are up in the 28 range now.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
And that's unaided without the pole vault.
That's
correct.
So
we got some guesses here. We've got
10
2,
inches.
7, 4.
Oh,
4,
Squatch
7.
Mama got it. Squatch Mama got it. 6 inches.
6.
27 feet, 6 inches.
Yep, the first one was 6.
Okay. All you got to need is another one there, Squatch Mama, and you'll be tied with everybody else. All right. Horses can't do what? Horses cannot do what? Because they have a strong band of muscles around their esophagus. What can they not do because of this band of muscles around their neck? There's something they cannot do. Go ahead and Google it, William.
I want to say yawn. Is that right? They can't yawn?
Well, that's a good guess. You might be right.
That's my guess.
Okay, we've got, I like Ike got it right, vomit.
Oh.
They cannot vomit. And in fact, a horse will explode, its stomach will burst. It gets sick and has to vomit. It can't. That's a horrible thing, right?
That is true. Yeah, horses will die of eating too much.
Technically, Brendan's right. Can't talk.
That's a good one.
He's technically right.
Who is?
Brendan. He said they can't talk.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
He was right.
So who got the vomit?
That's not the answer you're looking for.
Is it I like Ike? I like Ike, yes. So now we've got
another single.
Right? I like Ike?
Yep, he was the first one to say
Okay.
that.
So we got 3 ties. Where in the hell? The longest tail ever recorded on a horse was how long? You can just the closest length will win.
Mm.
The longest tail on a horse ever recorded. Jim, I should have picked a different topic.
That's okay. I like what I'm hearing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jim's just kicking back, going, I don't know nothing about horses.
So we got 6 foot, 37 inches, 8 foot, 15, 12.
Nobody right yet.
5, 7, 12 foot.
37 inches, 8 foot. Oh, Mary Jo got it right.
12?
Yeah, 12 foot.
12 foot. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
12 foot 6 inches. Actually, I should almost give it to Playing for Real because he got it exactly right. Mary Jo. I'll give them each a point. Mary Jo won.
Well, looks like we lost William. Not sure why.
He'll come back. There he is. He's back.
Yeah,
He's
someone.
back.
I don't know what it
All
was.
good.
Yeah, if you get booted out again, just punch back in.
No worries.
All right. The tallest horse on record was a horse named Samson. He was how many feet high? It's feet and inches. Tallest horse, first person to get right. This is kind of who can Google the quickest, right? Tallest horse. Jim, take a guess. Come on. Just
10 feet, 7 inches.
10 feet.
Well,
Rusty?
do they measure it in feet and inches, or do they measure it in hands?
Hands.
Well, yeah, but they're giving me the answer in feet. So feet and inches. What do you think?
Looking for a picture here. It's pretty.
It's probably more than 10 now that I'm thinking about it.
It's got to be feet. You can't give me hands. I have no idea what a 33 hands. Nice, John. I have no idea. It's in feet. 9 feet, 12 feet. I don't think nobody's got it right. You're all wrong. Oh, Tennessee, Kentucky. Yeah, Tennessee got it. 7 feet, 2 inches. That seems small to me, but that's what it says.
I'm trying to find a picture here. I've seen a picture.
Oh,
right?
you got it. Tennessee, Kentucky. I think that's your first. Okay. Got one.
Anyways.
Let's see here. The fastest recorded sprinting speed of a horse was how many miles per hour? Jim, take a guess. First instinct.
Yeah, 41.
41 miles an hour. Okay. Jeff, take a guess.
That's actually pretty. I was going to guess like 45.
Okay.
I think it's right around
Rusty?
the neighborhood.
I think it's less than that. I would say like 25.
25. Okay. This is their. So let me start looking at the answers rolling in. Mike got it. 55 miles an hour.
Oh, that's
Wow.
moving.
So we got all these ties now, damn it.
Wow.
We got
Isn't that about what a black bear? Can't the black bear run around that fast too? Memory serves. I think a black bear's around
I
the same
don't
speed.
know.
You should know that. You're a black bear expert.
I don't know how fast they can go. Faster than I could run.
They're fast. They can move.
Yeah, if you started out even, they'd beat you real quick.
Oh yeah.
Really have a burst. Okay. When horses look like they're laughing, they're actually engaging in a special nose enhancing technique known as what? It sounds like they're laughing. What are they doing? There's a name for it. And they're doing it to determine if a smell is good or bad. Flaring. Got a lot of good guesses. Oh, Tennessee got it. Go ahead and pronounce that, Jeff.
Sorry, I
Flammering?
had to blow my nose.
Oh, you're just like the horse.
Yeah. Oh man, this cold is kicking my butt. What are we at? That there? How do you pronounce that? I have no idea.
It's Flemen.
Lemon.
Flamin'? I don't know.
That is the right answer, though.
Yep, Flemen.
Yeah. If I disappear, it's because I'm blowing my nose, and you really don't want to see or hear that.
No, we don't.
You're welcome.
If you don't come back, it's because you blew up.
Yeah.
You over blew your nose.
Yeah, it could be. I've been blew an eyeball out. Who knows?
Oh God. Horse
not getting
hooves are
better.
made from the same protein that compromises human what? First person. Got to get both words. Horse hoofs are made from the same protein that compromises human what? Keep it clean.
Human.
Human hair.
That's what you're thinking. Okay. It's two things. You got to mention two things.
I would say cartilage.
Two things. It's got to be two answers.
That would have been my guess.
You got to name two things. You guys are close, but no one's named the two things.
Hair and nails.
Fingernail.
Here we go. Fingernails and hair. Eric got it. Oh, Eric, I think he's going into the lead. 3. Oh my God, we have a lead guy here. If you can keep your lead, Eric. Okay. We don't have many questions left. Horses have been domesticated for how many years? How long have they been domesticated for?
Oh man. Thousands. I would say at least. Got to be at least 4,000 years.
Yeah.
But I think less than 10,000.
Yeah, for sure.
10,000 was about the emergence of agriculture, and that's
Yeah, give or
when
take.
humans would have started using horses.
Yeah, I would guess. I'm gonna guess 4,000 to 5,000. That'd be my guess.
Jim?
But I really don't know.
Yeah, I think longer. 12,000.
12,000. Okay.
We got some guesses in chat here. 4,000, 13,000, 3,000, 7,500, 5,500, 3,500, 6,000. Anybody close?
I cheated. I looked it up.
5,024. That's a good guess. Where'd you go, Doug?
I'm here.
Doug. Oh,
I'm
okay.
here. I'm here. I'm focusing.
Anybody guess right here?
Yeah, Michael was the first one to get it. It's kind of cutting it off. It's 5,000 years.
Or 5,000.
But I was like cutting it off, and I was looking for the winner, and then all of a sudden people started getting it right. Got to be quicker. So let's see here. Did I say Michael got it? Yeah.
That's the closest one. Yeah. That's what I would have guessed. 4,000
What I
to
found
5,000
said was
neighborhood.
5,500 years.
All right. Now you're tied with Eric, Michael. All right.
That pressure's on.
All right. Horses can gallop at how many miles per hour? That's a gallop, not a sprint. A gallop. Jim, what say you?
Galloping along would be 22. Calculating, watching.
I'm going to guess 30.
Come on, guys.
I'll say 25. I think it's about half what they can do in a sprint. So if
25?
the sprint was 45, then 20-ish, 25.
It's a good guess.
So we got some guesses in chat here. 25, 35, 45, 24, 33, 15.
Nobody's got it right, though.
Nobody?
Nobody, not yet.
Keep guessing. Yeah, be right around there.
Yeah, keep
30,
going.
45.
Just type a new answer every second. Eventually,
Eventually, you got to get it right.
yeah.
29, 44. Nobody has 26.
Oh,
Did Eric cheat?
God. 27.
20. Oh, Eric is just saying 24. He just,
oh my
he
God.
just going
You
down the
guys
list.
both came in at 8:13. I don't know. I think Eric came in first, right? Eric did. Just beat you by 1 second, Mike.
Yeah.
So, Eric, you have now taken the lead again. You now have 4. You're one ahead of.
Very good.
All right, here we go. Let's see how many questions. I only have like 4 questions left. On the average, most domesticated horses live until they were about how old? So let's go to the one number, which is the longest. So what's the longest that they would live? Oh, Steve already got it.
33.
Steve, you got it. Here,
I was going to say 30.
Oh, let's put you up there. There you go. No, God, I missed him.
No, I clicked at the same time you did.
There we go. Steve got it right.
Yep.
Steve G.
I think 25 is about average, isn't it? 25 is about average. Memory, I think.
Yeah, 25 to 30 is the correct answer.
Yeah.
But I was looking for the oldest one. As long as you got that. Most white horses that you see are actually a darker color at birth. Okay, that's fine. But as they get older, they'll turn white. But what color are they actually? What do they call them? What do they call a white horse? What color do they call a white horse? If you're a horseman, you don't say it's a white horse. Jim? Silver? Okay. Jeff?
Gray.
No idea.
Oh, good, Eric. Pink. Good,
That's
Mike.
a good guess. Olo. That's a good guess.
Olo, I love it. There's Scotch
Yeah.
Mama. That's
That's a
pretty
good
witty.
guess.
Some witty people. Very witty people. True white. No. There's another color. You guys are missing it. That they call a white horse. They say they are. There's no true white horses. They are. Come on. There's only so many colors. Certainly not pink, Eric.
I guess we're not a group of horse people in this here.
Well, I can't help it. I had Bigfoot trivia done, and I thought, nah, nobody wants to do that.
Nobody got it right yet, eh?
No. Oh, there we go. Tennessee got it right. Gray.
Oh.
So let's see here. Tennessee, yeah.
Mm.
He's still one behind Eric. All right. The horse trailer was invented. Oh, crap. That was the answer. Oh, no, there's another. No, it's not the answer. The horse trailer is also called what by horse people? It was invented by Lord George Bentnick in the UK. He was a man who needed more efficient transportation for getting his 6 horses from one racetrack to another, but there's a name for it. The horse trailer is another name. If you're a horseman, you say, let's go put the horses in the what? Wagon.
No clue.
No, Eric, it's not the wagon. Not the horse carriage.
Yeah.
Carriage goes behind a horse.
Yes, that is right.
I feel really stupid. I don't know anything.
I love it. I love it. Jim, he's just like, this is the first time I've ever seen Jim
I'm
quiet.
stumped.
Ever.
Yeah, that's outside of our wheelhouse. That's
Ever.
for sure.
Dookie got it. Nice name, by the way. Dookie Pickles got it. The horse box.
Horse box. I've never heard that term before.
The horse box. No, horse float. What? I thought she said no. Oh, there it is. She got it right. Horse box. Yep, that's right. So, just for the official record, you're never going to win, Dookie.
So is someone in the lead?
Eric is by 1. So Eric, I'm going to do one more question, but there's some people with 3. They could tie with Eric.
Cool.
Okay. In 1872, Leland Stanford in 1824 through 1893 made a bet that at some point in a gallop, all 4 of a horse's legs are off the ground, like they're floating, right? So he made a bet that all 4 legs were off the ground at the same time. And then Edward Muybridge in 1830 proved him right by using a series of how many cameras? How many cameras did it take to prove that horses really do completely go airborne? It's a tiebreaker. Come on, guys.
I think it was
The answer horse box.
How many cameras?
Many horses. Or how many cameras?
Yep. How many cameras? Rusty, you want to guess?
I'm even cheating and I can't find it.
I think 16.
16 from the smartest man in the world. Okay. Yuki got it right.
24.
Yep. 24 cameras.
24.
All right, Dookie, you got 2. Not bad. All right, the lashes kind of come in from the rear. I don't
very good.
Dookie a man or a woman? I have no idea.
Well, that's interesting to think about, though. Before, think of the things we know now because of slow motion cameras.
Yeah, right.
There was a time that didn't exist. That's
didn't know.
Pretty interesting to think about.
And then I got it too, right? So just credit there, but you were just a little bit behind Dookie Pickles. It was like a horse race. All right. So at this point, Eric Sorensen won the T-shirt.
And I don't need his address.
No, you don't need his address. I saw Eric today, actually.
Oh, really?
Yep. Yeah, we've got another joiner here. We got West Coast. Is this flat? Is that flat, Rockland?
Can you hear us?
I don't know if you can hear. Yep, that's him.
Yep, that's him.
Okay, cool. It's good to meet these people. I think other people enjoy meeting them. Okay, so let's go ahead and just do the new word of the week, and we'll do some clips, and we're going to talk Bigfoot.
Okay. Word of the week. Here we go.
The untold word of the day is JOMO, the joy of missing out, ducking out of social events, and loving it. It's the opposite of FOMO, or fear of missing out.
No.
Do you get JOMO or FOMO when that wedding invitation shows up in your mailbox?
I like that one.
JOMO, yeah, it's the joy of missing out.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people do that, but nobody ever talks about it. Nobody ever admits it, ever.
Yeah.
I do, and my wife gets mad at me about it.
How many wedding invitations? I mean, you get so many of them, and it's like, oh my God, I wanted to go fishing that day.
Yeah.
Or I wanted to go to Canada or whatever. You're like,
well, that is the truth too. The older you get, the more you like.
like to just, whatever. I mean, once in a while, social events are good, but I do know people with severe FOMO.
Yeah.
And I also know people with severe JOMO.
Yep.
So there. All right.
On the JOMO side, the older I get.
Spring flat on.
Moderate
room?
FOMO.
Do we got room? I don't know. Does that work?
Yeah. Just there we go.
There we go. We're all small, but there he is. Hey.
Can we hear you, Flat? Can you hear us?
Howdy.
Talk.
Hey, there he is.
There he is.
I can hear you. I have about a 5-second delay, though.
Oh, that's fine. It's fine.
It's good to see a face.
All right, we're going to do clips, and we're going to have you guys tell us some of your stories, and we're going to change the topic to Bigfoot because our guest, Michael W. Cook, is a healthcare worker, and he had an emergency, and he's got to stay at work. So there you go. No doubt somebody's life is on the line. So we are happy and thrilled to meet you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Fun show, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's do clips, and won't take long. They're all real quick, but they're cool. Then we're going to get this going here. Go ahead, Jeff.
All right. Let's get this
All right.
first one up.
Yeah, clip 1. The sound is good. This is a very cool water spout.
It's a stunning and rare look at a water spout, not from the ground, but high in the clouds. This video was captured as a flight to Phuket, Thailand descended and storm clouds moved in.
Isn't that
The passenger who recorded it said the funnel got at least 100 feet high as it snaked between the ocean and the clouds. And just like a tornado on land, a tornadic water spout sprouts from severe thunderstorms.
There you go. Although water spouts, I'm pretty sure can come from pretty clear, nice weather, like a dust devil can. You ever seen a dust devil, Jim? I bet you've seen lots of them.
I have.
And they're weird. They're wicked.
Yeah.
They're cool. I was at an event one time and a dust devil just started throwing people's easy up tents up in the air, just sucking them up. But it was almost a clear day out.
That can be dangerous in the water. I live on the Gulf of Mexico, and you can see water spouts not uncommonly, and they can run into boats and damage them severely.
Yeah. But they're not big, right? The bottom is not huge.
A few feet.
Very cool. All right, so clip 2. Sound is good. And for those that think that these contrails aren't done on purpose, or they do, I don't know. This is just some interesting footage. Go ahead and play. They're obviously spraying something. What I don't know is where this is. Some places they're open about this, saying they're seeding clouds. But man, I have seen these things crisscrossing the sky, and then it gets cloudy, and it stays cloudy all day.
Yeah, they don't disperse. Like if it's a natural contrail, they kind of disperse pretty quick. But the fake stuff, it stays up there forever.
Do you have any thoughts on that, Flat? On contrails and this weather control crap?
Not really. I go back and forth. I'm not a contrail conspiracist.
I'm not either, but it just seems interesting. Once in a while, I'm kind of like, well, maybe they're right. Maybe those guys are right.
Oh, I think
they're trying to find modification. What do you think, Jim?
Right. Well, I think that there needs to be a cover story in place, no matter what they're doing, if it's for us or against us.
Yeah.
Because lots of things get misunderstood and not really sure what to make of it. Like the HARP project, for example. What is that really?
Yeah, what are they really doing? Is it communications or heating up the ionosphere?
Right. So the aircraft, Jane's Aviation and manufacturing by different aviation companies that are going to bid on something, there is a known standard, a known level of technology that meets the standard of work when a bid goes out. And then comes the repair or the maintenance that's going to happen on an aircraft. And I did spend some time about 5 years ago trying to find out the parameters of looking at the photographs and what would be the tank, the reservoir, the nozzle, the capabilities that were being dumped out of that plane. Why is that not being used in forest fires, for example? And laying down after a forest fire, ground cover that's going to grow. It's like a milkshake with seeds and fertilizer and cork in it that makes a pancake mix that hardens up, then grows little plants that hold the soil down. That would be a much better way if that technology was really controllable to have various viscosities of liquids and metallous fibers in them at the same time to work on some of these other problems that exist. We did work on a on a sky crane, and like a cement mixer that mixes up this hydro seeding solution that's sprayed on the ground, and we put sound transducers in the giant tanks in order to accelerate the germination of the seeds. And in that era, it was about 2 years, we got to meet other people that were building aircraft and building all kinds of things that would be used in sky pumping, the sky pumping arena for after forest fires or after bombing in order to stop dusting and the problems that exist with farms and gardens that can no longer be grown upon because of the sound and the silt and the soot and the clay that dumps on top of it. Yeah.
So you were doing seed trails, not contrails, seed trails.
Yeah, we worked on that, and that process is now being done. It started after there was a lawsuit in the World Court against the United States for bombing in Afghanistan and the debris and the problems that were created after that. And the United States lost that, and a contract was given to a company that does those kind of things and responds to making those items. And we responded to the sonication part. And in the bidders, the final bidders, there's usually a lot of contracts and back and forth, and there is an environment to share new technology with each other for the benefit of making the best contraption that's going to be contracted to be built.
Okay,
that was my inload of the capabilities of aircraft that are blowing fluids out into the sky and up, and they stay there. What's going on when they're blown out and they stay there, that they stay in patterns, is they have to be ionized.
So, okay. So do you believe these chemtrails are real?
I think that they're doing something specific, but I'm not seeing anything that demonstrates that it's hurtful to humans.
Okay. All right. Well, let's leave it at that.
It may be something that is useful and helpful to humans, but could be easily misunderstood or could be modified ever so easily in order to create damage, such as the sound waves being used in the Cuba situation a couple years ago, which is not unlike Legionnaire's disease of many, many years ago, of what is actually the waves and the particles that are causing that problem. Don't see that in contrails. I mean, there's a lot of conjecture on it. People got sick in my eyes and I couldn't see and this, and we went to the hospital and all that. Where?
All I know, okay, here's what I know.
Yeah.
There's days you don't see one jet contrail, just a normal contrail.
Right.
And other days they leave this wide thing and it stays there the whole day.
Yeah.
Doesn't leave it, just like it just sits there and it gets wider and wider and
more
wider.
than moisture.
So yeah, it just could be steam, I guess. I don't know. Right?
Right.
From jet exhaust? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense.
Trevor James Constable's cloud busting machines used to demonstrate principles like that.
Yep. Okay. Clip 4. Moving on here. Sound is good. This is.
Oh, you skipped clip 3. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's go back to clip 3.
Oh, sorry. Let's do clip 3 then. Sound is good. Don't play it yet. Did NASA just film some type of either a huge craft or some kind of an orb in front of the sun? This was caught on many cameras. So this event happen. The question is, what was it? So go ahead and play this.
Oh, got no volume.
That's all right. So this huge round thing, which it has to be massive.
Yeah, I'm at max volume.
That's fine. I just wanted you guys to see the footage. And this did coincide with the power outage
Tesla.
in Spain.
Oh, wow.
The size of these type of orb that hover our sun for a couple of minutes, then stop and then it just vanished out of the nowhere. NASA is not going to come
So
out.
was that not the moon passing in front of the camera between the camera and the sun?
No, that was real time. It was moving.
Well,
the moon isn't. No, this thing is way beyond the moon. This camera. It's a satellite. It's a solar study camera that's really bringing back amazing images of the sun. It's quite far. Maybe somebody can do a little research and find out how far away it is from Earth. But I'm pretty sure it's well over, 3 or 4 times the distance of the moon. All right, that's enough. Something to research. It's kind of interesting. Okay, the next clip, the sound is good. This is a very beautiful, prismatic, glowing jellyfish. It's called the Corsair jellyfish, but man, is this thing beautiful.
Oh, wow.
Just wait until they get a good shot of it. Look at this.
All the colors.
Isn't that crazy? I have a feeling that Olo color's in there somewhere.
That's amazing.
Play it one more time.
Yeah.
God, nature is so cool. And people think Bigfoot's weird, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Bigfoot's not weird. I keep telling people that. Bigfoot's not weird at all.
I think Bigfoot's pretty pedestrian.
Pretty damn normal. All right, clip 5. No sound. This is what animals would look like. All these animals would look like if their eyes were, like humans in front of their head. This is pretty funny. Somebody got AI to work, but it's quite creepy. There's a normal rabbit. Here's what it would look like if it had eyes like a human. A chicken.
Oh, jeez.
There's a shark. And what it would look like with 2 eyes. This is really creepy, the goat. Oh, God.
It is creepy.
All right, we got the idea, huh? I guess. Well, there you go. I don't know. Okay, that's enough of that crap. All right. The next one is just insanity. I don't like to see stuff like this because it's just this sheep mentality. It's too much. Clip 6. Go ahead and play it. The sound is fine, and I'll explain what it is.
So we're here at the mall, and check out this line.
You got to see this. Just wait.
Not yet. Not yet. Oh my,
Wraps through
what
his
is a
whole
Pop Tart?
mall.
Or what's a Pop Mart?
Yeah, they're all waiting in line
And
at
it goes
Pop
all
Mart.
the way to the food court.
There's nothing that I want that bad.
Would you? Yes. Would you wait in that
What
line?
is a Pop Mart?
All right, you can stop it. I'll explain what it is. They are after a thing called the Labubu. It's a doll
Oh, of course.
that apparently has been released, and this has been going on all over the U.S., all over Europe. They're just nuts for the Labubu doll. Doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make any sense at all.
Nope.
Of course,
All
I
right.
can't remember the last time I was in a mall, even.
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't know there were any malls left.
Been a long time for me. Years.
I haven't been in a mall, and oh my God, I can't even remember.
Is the Mall of America still there?
Yeah, it's still there, but yeah, it's like, no
Not the
thanks.
same?
I remember this when I was
thanks.
there.
Yeah, it's not
No.
the same.
It's probably been at least 10 years since I went there.
A little bit of crime going on there.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Clip
7's next.
Clip 7. Yeah, the sound is good. You got to turn the bass down, dude, or you're going to wreck your car. Play it. Your clip's frozen. It's not even playing.
Is it playing?
No, it's not even playing. You hear it. Still not playing.
Really?
Nah, it's all jerky. I don't know what's going on. Do it again. It's worth it.
Yeah, it's playing. It's That's weird. Let me try opening it up again here.
There we go. I can see a little bit of it now. Anyhow, he's got these huge bass speakers, and it's literally destroying his car. It's pushing the sheet. You have to see it. It's so
Yeah, you
amazing.
can see the metal vibrating from the sound.
Yes, and it's just wrecking his paint and his body work and everything. And I thought, dude, that's a little too nuts. Have you ever had anybody pull up to you and they got that bass thumping your chest? That infrasound? Okay. Why am I losing that? Oh, yeah. Clip 8. This is like RC Airplane Armageddon.
Oh, wrong clip. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on. 1 second here. Sorry, I'm a little bit. All right. Give me 1 second. There we go.
Maybe Jeff can explain what the hell they're doing here.
Let's see.
I don't think I'd want to be standing around. These are
Well, the
all
streamers.
RC
Well, the streamers are for competition. The goal of the stream. This doesn't look. I don't know what they're doing. It looks like some kind of just weird demonstration. But normally, what the long streamers are, they'll do mock dog fighting, and the goal is to cut the streamer off the tail.
I don't think that's the case there. It just looks like a free for all.
Yeah, it does.
Looks like a dangerous free for all. Okay. Clip 9. The sound is good, and you got to turn the sound up. This is when your dog embarrasses you really, really bad.
Okay, sound on this one. There we go.
Your lady's on a bus. Okay, that's enough of that.
Singing.
All right. Clip 10. Jim, you may know something about
Hey
this.
guys, I'm going to log out and log right back in.
Sure, no problem. Clip 10. Oh, this is interesting. The sound is good. They're turning light into a solid. And I don't know if this is even true. So go ahead and play it.
Scientists just turned light into a solid, and it flows like a liquid. For the first time ever, researchers in Italy have created a quantum supersolid using only light, a bizarre state of matter that defies physics as we know it. Over a decade ago, they showed light could act like a fluid, but now they've taken it further. Solid light that flows. Are we unlocking new dimensions of reality?
Jim?
Yeah, it's a material called a photopolymer. And it was developed by Agfa Gavarit Company, that is a film company that's been working principally in gaseous control of film emulsions, from X-ray film to camera film. And they developed this polymer that reacts to ultraviolet light and other tunable lights. Sometimes it uses a particular laser called a flash pumped tunable dye laser that is used to change the resolution of the material that you're hardening in a fluid with a light, or sometimes more than one light, that are making a 3D object that's either going to be hardened or it's going to keep moving. Those are choices that you have. Properties are still being experimented with. And there are many others now working with Agfa Gavarit's photopolymer. In their early uses of it, it was called stereolithography.
Okay.
To use this particular ultraviolet light that's on the purple side of ultraviolet. Similar to near field, dark field microscopy that uses this kind of light in order to charge energy into a molecule so you can see it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you a question. People have reported spotlights coming from UFOs that start at the UFO and slowly come down before they hit the ground, almost like it's a solid. Is that similar to this technology?
Well, I would say yes, in that, all technologies with light are kind of similar to each other. I mean, there's many factors involved, but being able to have light affect a fluid and change the reaction of it is new. I mean, quantum physics isn't that old. Of waves are used to move particles. I mean, that's really what it is. Light waves are moving photons. Which came first, the chicken or the egg, the wave or the particle?
Yeah.
And that's the issue with photopolymers, that they can change their shape or change what they do or change their density depending on the imminent light that is transferred.
But my question is it truly light that they're actually getting light to form a solid? Is that true or untrue or an exaggeration?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way that some of the standard high quality, low cost 3D printers work.
Well, yeah, I realize they hit light into a resin.
You've got a room full of
I
them.
own one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, they're cool. Resin printers are cool.
Yeah, they're very cool. Okay, well, let's move on. The last clip, and then we're going to talk Bigfoot, is just a little bonus clip. This is just a very weird bird I call the moonwalk bird. Actually, is a mannequin bird. And man, can he move his feet quick.
Yeah. Oh, no kidding.
Could you imagine if that was a horse? It's like the Michael Jackson of birds. All right.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, nature is so cool. It really is. All right. Switching gears, we're going to Bigfoot now.
Cool.
Let's start with what should we call? I don't want to call you West Coast Flat. Can I just call you Flat?
Oh, your mic is muted.
Your mic is muted. It's right in the corner at the bottom. Just unmute it. There we go.
There we go.
I can't hear you now.
There we go. We can hear you.
Darn it.
I can hear you now.
So what should we call you? Flat?
Give me a second.
Okay.
That's so weird.
Yeah, you got to wear earphones. Oh, now we don't hear you. You got your mic muted. Or no, he doesn't have it muted. Well, let's start with you, Rusty. Just keep testing stuff. You'll get it figured out. Rusty?
Sure.
What in the world did you see? You said you saw something.
That I did. It was
Right.
many years
Tell us.
ago. It was actually in 1980. I was at the time 21 years old, and I was working as a lifeguard at a lake in Arkansas, sort of a resort type thing where people go swimming and fishing and stuff.
Yeah.
You're right. So I was working there, and every night after we get through being a lifeguard, my buddy and I, who was also a lifeguard, would go fishing on the lake, from 6 on till it got dark, basically. And then one day that summer, and I think it was late June or early July, we were fishing and we were in a boat, maybe 10 yards offshore, and we were trolling. So we had a trolling motor going, so we were very quiet.
Yep.
We're fishing and slowly moving down, parallel to the shore. And all of a sudden we heard something on the shore that we didn't, or just some rustling or movement or something. And we looked up to see what appeared to be sort of the head and shoulders of a very hairy man/ape. It was somewhere between those two. And he was looking out over the underbrush, and the underbrush covered him from like maybe chest down. So that's really all we saw of him. But he looked at us for maybe 10 seconds, something like that, and then turned and ran away without making any kind of vocalization. We could hear him running through the trees because it was heavily forested all the way around the lake, and ran away very quickly. And then he was out of sight almost immediately. So we looked at each other. We were pretty scared, kind of shook up, because we didn't know what that was. That had never been reported in that area before. This was eastern Arkansas, actually, just across the river from Memphis, Tennessee. So we were pretty shaken up. We immediately packed up everything and turned the boat on, went back to our little cabin where we stayed in, went inside and locked the door and loaded all the guns. But we never saw anything else, never heard anything else, but it was very clearly there. I mean, we saw it, like I said, maybe 10, 15 yards away. So we could see it in great detail. We saw the face with the sort of a flattened nose, but not as much as like an ape would be. The mouth, which was a little more protruding, than a human, but not like, flexible or prehensile lips like, an ape or a chimpanzee might have. There was no hair on the face, but the face itself was dark, brown to black. The hair itself, outlining it, was black from what we could tell. And there was hair over what we could see of the body down to, like I said, about a nipple level of the chest. And like I said, it was like a snapshot almost. We could see it for those 10 seconds or so. I had the feeling that we caught it by just surprise, that it had come. And just as a little background, so that summer, the summer of 1980, was like the hottest on record in the Memphis, Tennessee area. There'd been no rain for over like 90 days, and the temperatures were in 100-degree plus every day for like a month before that. So everywhere was very dry. I wondered, in retrospect, was it coming down to the water to cool off, to get a drink, who knows what? And he didn't expect humans to be out there at that time of the evening, and we caught it by surprise. Of course, he surprised us as much as we surprised him, I suppose.
Wow.
But that was really the extent of it. And, I kind of kept quiet about it for many years, because I went from there. That was while I was in college. I went from there straight to medical school, straight to residency, straight to fellowship. So, I was very heavily distracted in a sense from that. Plus, you figure, what are you going to say, about something like that? He and I at the time were looking at each other and thinking, who are we going to tell? What are we going to tell them? So we just kind of kept it to ourselves. He died about 15 years ago, something like that. So I'm the only survivor now who saw it. I actually got interested in it again, or started talking about it again, when I stumbled on the BFRO online, and I thought, oh gosh, there's other people that have seen that, and this is an opportunity to say to the world, yeah, I saw something like this too. So I did, and it's kind of gone from there. So I've been signing on to various podcasts and other places to just listen to other people's stories. And that's kind of why I'm here. In fact, I've been listening to you all for, a couple of months, I guess now, because of that. So I really enjoy your podcast. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, great. That's great. Well, we're going to talk more. So let's see if we can get some audio out of Flat.
Tess?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yes.
You're good.
Hey.
So go ahead and tell us what changed you and why are you, interested in this topic?
I've never had a sighting. I don't know why I'm so into it, but I love being out in nature. I go out as much as I can. I'm in Tacoma, Washington, so I have areas in the Olympics and near Mount Rainier. I've had a lot of audio encounters, but never an actual sighting. All my friends think I'm crazy. I'm the Bigfoot, guy. my family thinks I'm a little odd, but I have a couple guys I go camping with a lot, and I get them scratching their heads quite often, like, okay, I can't explain that whoop or the rock clack, I try to convince them, like, hey man, if 1,000 sightings are fake but one of them's real, it's real, right? Like, how can you say all these people are lying out there. They're not all making this crap up. So it kind of drives me nuts. Just the unopen-mindedness of a lot of folks. So I'm just curious as hell, man. I love all this stuff. Just want to know what the hell's in the woods and what's going on. So it keeps me going.
Well, you've been a very loyal listener. So obviously you're really motivated to get answers because you've obviously had a lot of audio encounters and that are driving you nuts, and you want to see one. And you know what? It's going to happen when you least expect it, probably.
Well, I had one encounter where I was camping and with my dog, and I had five guys. They all left before me. It was almost noon, and they said, "Catch up." I said, "No problem. I'm a slow packer when I'm camping, hiking." So they took off. I decided to take a shortcut. This was up in Greenwater, where Barb Shoop got her cloaker video, very close to that. There's a couple lakes back there I like to hit. But I decided to take a shortcut off trail, and it was maybe a half mile, nothing too crazy. And I, get in front of these guys and surprise them. And my dog, she's so loyal, she went with them, left me by myself. Thanks, dog. So I'm just cutting through the bush, nothing crazy, and I get a whoop, and I'm sitting there all giddy. What the? That's not a bird, I'm smiling, laughing, and I get to the trail eventually, and my friends show up a few minutes later, and I asked, "Did you guys make a whoop?" "No, man, we don't do that crap. That's you, Matt." So that's when I decided to get a GoPro and have that sucker on my pack, just so I could prove that I'm not crazy. They don't believe me. So I've got just a regular Tascam for audio and a GoPro, and that's I don't get too crazy. I'm kind of under the belief I'll probably get more action without the camera on, but who knows? Who knows?
Well, Jim, here's an assignment for you.
Okay.
Find us an animal that whoops. There isn't any. There's no birds that whoop. There's no animals that whoop that nobody knows about. But if anybody could find that animal, it might be you.
Okay.
Serious.
How long do I have?
You have the rest of eternity. No. Give you a couple weeks.
Okay.
I'm serious.
2 weeks. I'll have something in 2 weeks. I'll find some yippers.
Yeah, it's got to be a whoop. Go ahead and imitate it, one of you guys, the actual sound.
The one I heard was just a quick whoop, something like that.
Yep, that's exactly it. That's a good impression. And it just sounds bird-like. So most people, when they hear it, they just ignore it. Oh, that's a bird. But there are no birds that do that damn noise. So it's frustrating. And so we think maybe owls, hoots, could be mistaken. Mike brings it up, but not really. An owl is an owl. I mean, it just, you have no idea how many we have recording. We probably have, I would guess, 2,000 to 3,000 recordings of whoops. And we're happy to provide them to you, Jim. We could provide you 8,500 recordings. If you'd be interested, I'll get them all to you.
And so many of them are so consistent too. That's so weird.
8,500 from all over the country, and they're so consistent and so weird that the whoop is just one of many weird sounds, but it's one that's consistent coast to coast.
Have you ever had anyone do a bioacoustics comparison?
Oh God, yes. Oh God, yes. Oh, yeah.
I'd like
for
to
years
see that
and years.
first before listening to some of the sounds.
Some of the best audio people in the world have worked on this. Yeah. Nothing matches. There's no animal that matches.
Do they match each other?
Yes. On the spectrogram, they match perfectly.
There are some things that match between all of them.
Yes. Very similar on a spectrogram. Yep.
There's a comment here by David Ellis. The whoop has a very recognizable visual signature.
Oh, get
So
David.
not only-
Get David a link. David, do you want to come on? Get David a link. David's one of the audio experts that has been working on this. He's so humble. He's like, I'm not an audio expert. Yeah, you are, David.
Yes, you are.
And he's amazing. He lives out in Washington State. And he's been the guy that's collected over 8,500 of these recordings and done analysis on all of them. It's pretty nuts. So if you get David a link, we can join by one more. What the hell? Have you ever heard or seen anything else, Rusty? Or just that one and done?
Yeah, and like I said, I just kind of put it aside for many years while I was in my doing my professional training and my career, because there was really no opportunity, particularly at that time. There was no internet, there was no cell phones, any of that stuff. So where do you go to tell somebody that? And we didn't know. 20-year-old kids. We decided not to tell anybody because we didn't. We didn't think, number one, we thought people, say we were drinking or we're crazy or doing whatever. So I just kept quiet about it, partly because I figured, my profession, it would probably not be received well. So I just kept quiet about it until very, shortly before I retired last year. So I've only been open about it for the last, like I said, 2 or 3 years.
Okay. By the way, I was going to mention, Jim, if there's a bird, and there are birds that can mimic, ravens and crows and so on can mimic, starlings, I guess, can even mimic some stuff. They're mimicking a Bigfoot. It's our only conclusion, if they are doing it, because there's just nothing like it. And what do you do with a guy like William, that's had a face-to-face? You were only 12 feet away?
Yeah,
that's close.
12 yards.
12 yards. Okay, that's still pretty damn close.
Clearly visible.
30. You're 36 feet. That's not that far. And you're seeing its eyes, correct?
Yes.
You see its nose, its hair, and did it leave, or did you? How did your boat move? Or how did it disappear out of your sight?
Very slowly, because we were trolling. You were fishing for crappie, which I don't know if you know how that works, but you kind of move very slowly down the bank, fishing in just a few feet of water. So we were moving very slowly, and then when we saw it, it looked up at us, and it kind of looked startled, I think, in a way. And then, like I said, after maybe 10 seconds, maybe less, it turned. In other words, it turned its back to us and ran off up into the trees up the, which is the levee for the Mississippi River at that time, away from us. So we were just kind of slowly moving by, kind of about like that. Okay. And so we saw for those few seconds, it saw us, and then it turned and ran away without making any kind of vocal sound.
Okay, so you did see it run away or leave.
Yes.
Yeah, see that gets rid of anybody saying, well, it was a stump, an upturned stump or an upturned tree root, which can look like a Bigfoot from afar.
Sure, you could be fooled if you were away
absolutely.
from it. But no, it was moving, living, breathing.
Yeah.
You could see its eyes moving and blinking. So there was something alive there, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Rusty, did you have any thought form exchange with it?
I can't say
that
I
was
did.
Sending you anything?
I can't say that I did. I've heard people talk about that and think of it, but no, not really. With just the surprise factor was more than anything. I think it was surprised. We were surprised. I can't really say any more than that.
So there was something in the face that had you understand that it was startled.
Yes.
It was
like the eyes were
passively reacting.
Yes, they were reacting to us for sure. Like the eyes were wider, so you could see the whites of his eyes. or his or her. I don't know whether he was a his or he or she. But you could see the whites of his eyes. You could see his lips kind of move in, like, in other words, he recognized that we were something he was not used to. He didn't want to be seen by. And then, like I said, maybe twitched a little bit for a few seconds, and then turned his back to us. Just turned completely around, and ran up the bank.
Jeff, do you want to let David in too? David Ellis, hello.
Hi guys, how are you?
Hi. We're having kind of a weird show tonight. Can you play any whoops? You got any whoops recorded you could play?
Let's see.
Well, just go ahead and find it. All right. Flat. What is the weirdest sound that you've ever heard?
Probably the first one that really caught me off guard was I was up in the Olympics. It's a lake about 5 miles up. It's not that long a hike, but it's a real burner, so no one really gets up there.
Yeah.
And I'll just tell a quick story. I got up there on like a Friday afternoon, and it was probably 7 p.m. The sun's up till 9 p.m. in the summertime up here, so still light out. And I get to there's 3 little lakes. I picked one in the middle that's shaped like a horseshoe, and the spot to camp's kind of in the middle. Think of a horseshoe, and you're camping right in the middle. So I get there, and I just whistle out loud, and a boulder rolls down the hillside. Oh, that's weird. Okay, I'll chalk that up. That's just bizarre. Go to bed early. I went to bed at like 9:30. Get up about 3 o'clock to pee, and I'm out there. The stars are out. It's beautiful, and there's a star that's really bright, and it starts dimming out, and then getting brighter, and then dim. And I'm thinking, oh, I got crap in my eyes. That maybe and then it dims out all the way, and still again, I'm like, that's weird. Maybe I'm just tired. Got back in my tent, and there was kind of an ambient light just on the outside. I hear people talk about orbs, so they don't really shine up the trees or around them. It kind of seemed like a dim light, but it was a lot, and that caught me off guard. So I ran out and I opened the tent. Nothing. Went right back to sleep. Next morning is about 9:15. I had all my clothes out drying in the sun because it had been raining the night before, and I'm sitting there cross-eyed reading. I was actually reading Robert Pyle's book, The Dark Divide, which is kind of funny. And I'm sitting there in the sun, and it's not a big lake; it's more of a big pond, and probably 30 yards, 40 yards across. Rock clack, clear as day.
Okay, so you're reading Robert Pyle's book about Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And then you're hearing rock clacking. Okay.
Yeah. And I just started laughing. I got up and I grabbed some rocks and I went like this. I should have ignored him, just to see if it happened again. It's hard to do, right? But that's probably the weirdest thing, that just loud as hell. There's no people around.
Yeah.
I don't know. All those together,
Yeah, that's a number of things. It's probably too hard to blow off, right?
Yeah, and I've had other encounters. I've been up there 3 or 4 times in the last 4 years, and just stick structures, glyphs on the trail.
Okay.
Just weird little things that you notice. But that's probably the weirdest thing I've had. Nothing too crazy.
David, did you find a whoop?
I found numerous whoops. I'm not sure how to share screen here. I don't see a share screen tab.
Let's see here. Oh man, you can probably just play it near your, on your computer. We probably could hear it pretty well.
Oh, okay. Let's let me turn up the volume.
Yeah, we'll probably hear it.
Okay, let's give it a try here.
Yeah. Unless Jeff knows how to share a screen.
I think there's a way, but I really don't know. And while I'm back on screen, let me just again thank you so much for everybody being on the show, because you're giving me a break from having to talk.
I know. I'm watching you in the back room blowing your nose. Poor Jeff.
There's actually a way to do it that I can guide you through it. It's the present button that's down next to settings.
Oh, yeah. It says present.
Oh, yeah. And you click on that,
share.
and then you go to slides and PDF with a little arrow. It's at the top. You click on that, and then at the bottom of that menu, you'll see add files from your computer. So you can click on that and go and get an audio file on your computer and just click on it and it'll play through.
I have a share screen button. Did you say click that?
Yeah. There's one that says present.
Present.
Yeah, I clicked that, and now I'm there was a share screen tab.
Yeah. Yeah, you can just hit that. Try it.
Share screen. Now I got to also share audio.
Yep.
Yeah, you should be able to just pull up the screen with the audio file and share that screen. Select that screen to share, and you should be able to play it.
This is such a weird show.
Let's see that.
Yeah, we're making the best of it. It's all good.
That's not helping.
I'm usually cooking dinner right about when you start, Doug. So I've held off. I'm just drinking beer.
Yeah, but we really appreciated all your input over the years here. And,
yeah, I was eating.
He's known as Flat.
What's for dinner?
Flat Rockland.
Italian sausage with pasta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife's a very good cook.
Nice.
So again, what happened is our guest, Michael W. Cook, had to cancel at the last second because he's a healthcare worker and he got called in on some emergency and he had to stay at work. So there you go. So that's why we're having all this improv fun. And then Jim, we arranged Jim just to be an honorary guest host a long time ago. And here he is.
That's awesome.
I like being non-specific.
Yes, he's just whatever. Did you figure it out, David?
Well, I'm hitting share and it just doesn't do anything.
Well, just play it over your speakers, like you said. We'll hear it.
Or you could email it to me too.
Yeah, or just
if it's something handy to email, I can play it on my side.
So, what do you think these are, Rusty? What do you think these creatures are?
I think it's some kind of unknown hominid. I'm very my feeling is very similar to Jeff Meldrum's. I think it's an unknown hominid, somewhere in that family that is very rare. Maybe there's no more than a few thousand in the whole continent of North America. They, keep in very remote areas for the most part. Like, for example, I think the one I saw, because there's been no other reports there, I suspect it was probably passing through on the way from one area, because Western Arkansas and the mountains in Arkansas, there's lots of reports there. And then there are other places to the south, like in Alabama and so forth, even in Georgia, that have lots of them too. So I wonder if maybe that one was just he was a lone male, maybe passing through, going to another area. So yeah, I really think it's got to be a hominid. I don't disparage anybody who believes in the so-called woo factor, that they're supernatural or they're, extraterrestrial or something like that. I'm not ever going to, criticize anybody for that. But I think, you got to start with something that is, believable. I hate to answer a mystery like, what is it, with another mystery. So that's where I start from.
I have probably documented at least 3 other people that were using electric trolling motors that had sightings.
Yeah,
What I remember, the first one I heard was in Florida, and that guy got to watch it for a long time. And then your sighting's pretty amazing too. Were you coming around a corner?
No, it was just we were slowly going down the side of the bank as long, relatively straight, shoreline. So, but like I said, the undergrowth was right down to the water. This is very thick, almost jungle-like undergrowth right along the Mississippi River at that point.
So if it would have looked left, or right, it may not have seen you.
Exactly, which is why it didn't see us, and we didn't see it until we were right up in front of it.
Right in front. Okay. Was it wet? Was the creature looked damp?
Didn't seem to be, as far as I could tell. At least the part of it we could see. Like I said, we saw it from, the chest and shoulders up.
Yeah. Because me and Yvette had a sighting of one that looked like it was drying off. And it was right next to Mille Lacs Lake. And it was a really hot summer night, humid, hot, nasty, one of those just icky nights. And it looked like it was literally standing in the wind, and you could see the wind just blowing its hair, and it was just doing the hula kind of motion with its arms. Wow. And it was drying off. You could see the wind just blowing it, and it looked really super clean. So that was interesting. All right. David, did David depart? Where's David?
He disappeared. I'm not sure what happened. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. David's got a new internet connection too.
Oh, that could be part of the problem. Oh. Yeah, David, if you're still listening, David, if you want to email me anything, I'm happy to play it.
Yeah. So anyhow, so do you know Tristan Flat?
I've never met Tristan. No.
You need to. Do you want to?
No, I know. Yeah, I do. I'd love to hook up with a lot of the guys right here.
I'll have Jeff put my email address in the chat and get with me, and I will then do a phone call with both you and Tristan.
I've talked to him a little bit, and it sounds like some of the places I go and camp are close to where him and his mom go do and leave gifts and stuff. So, yeah, it's a small world out here.
Oh, there. Jeff put it up. I'll put there's my email address.
Got it.
So you can replay the chat anytime and get it.
Okay.
And then go ahead and just send me a letter, and we'll arrange for a call and get you to introduce you to Tristan.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
All right, I got some whoops here from.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, let's see if I can get them to play here.
Okay.
Download them all. Okay. 1 second.
If you could mute your mic flat when you're not talking, that'd be awesome, because you keep touching your mic. You got a good mic, but it's sensitive. Here we go. Here we go.
He gave me a bunch of them here. I'll just keep playing them.
Did he send you any other clips?
Yeah, these are all different ones.
I don't even hear that one.
Just barely. It's interesting how these are all serial sounding. It's like a rhythm almost.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what to make of that exactly, but I just thought it was striking.
There's David.
Do you have any single really loud whoops, David? That are close to the...
That first one's pretty good.
Yeah, it's good.
Did you guys play some while I was gone? Okay.
Yep. I can play that first one again.
Can you explain to Jim why these whoops are similar, but they're very different than any other type of recording?
The signature is very plain. It's not like a dog bark. It's not like owls sometimes can have an interesting sound, but this signature is found in areas where we are actually looking for Bigfoot. I can never claim it's a 100%. It just is a very common signature. It usually happens if you listen to a longer recording. Usually there will be a whistle or a wood knock or some other sound that is a suspicious sound to us that are researching it. Yeah. But it's an unmistakable visual.
Have you ever compared the sounds using Fourier transforms or FFT software?
No. I know what you're talking about, though. And I'm looking for, and I have been looking for, an expert in that particular field. I may have that person. I just reconnected with them over the weekend at an expedition. So,
well, you could actually become that expert yourself just by using a software program that will display the sound as a Fourier transform. And that's a free, I recommend a free program called Audacity.
Okay.
You know of Audacity, and get not the new version, but when you go to their website, you can get an older version, like version 5, and you load the Fourier system as an add-on. They're free. It's all right there on their website. And you play a sound, and then you go to the menu and you select an FFT, and it will display in what looks like a snowflake, a modified snowflake, and you can see the similarities and the differences in them, and it becomes a visual. You look at it and you go, oh, well, that's familiar to me. I've seen that pattern before. And that's what Fourier transforms do, is turn the audio like a wave file. Turns it into a visual representation of time domain and frequency, which is very useful.
I do that with a spectrogram.
Yeah, spectrograms are good.
That's how I pick up the detail.
Yeah,
that gives me the visual signature. I don't do anything by sound.
Yeah,
I won't just listen. I look and listen.
Yes, very good.
So the visual is what cues me into that particular sound. And when I see it, I know exactly what it is. So in a sense, I think what you're telling me with that particular software is it is even more detailed than a spectrogram.
Yeah, it's far more detailed. And a spectrogram is the standard of care, so to say. For doing
that's the bioacoustic method.
Yes. And Audacity is not really the state of the art, but it is a standard in that it's free, and it was created as a public project to record all the sounds in the city from all microphones all over the city and then compare them. Audio City is what Audacity means.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity way back when of using Audacity. I found Sonic Visualizer for me personally was much easier to use.
I do like that. Yeah.
And so I've been doing that for 13 years.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of like a dog in new tricks at this point.
Yeah.
So
we have used Sonic Visualizer before to help singers that are sharp or flat get better at what they're aiming at.
Yeah. Have you heard of spectral layers?
A lot of people are using Audacity for music recording, which is where I heard it from.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Have you heard of a software
And,
called Spectral Layers?
The good thing about Audacity is it has some real high resolution formats that you can use that are MP3 files are like a phonograph record. They're a playback system. Whereas WAV files are like a recording studio. They're what you put the master on. And you want as much resolution as you can get. As soon as you go to MP3, you have chopped the file up into a digital format, 48,000 samples per second, and it's real sharp and clear, but there's detail missing.
Yep. You lose some of the warmth to the record when you put it in digital format.
Yeah, right. There's a fatness. There's a thickness to the signal, and you can get around that sometimes in audio or video by doing what's called oversampling, by playing it multiple times.
Right.
A split second, 3 milliseconds is preferred behind the other one. So play it 4 times, and it tends to thicken it up so that what you're communicating to, like we're always focused on the resolution that a plant responds to. That's my medium of living tissue these last few years, is sound waves on living plant tissue and algae and bacteria. And we worked on the BP oil spill and creating a food supply for Alcanovorax borcamensis, which is the quote oil-eating microbe. It's not really eating it; it's breaking it down so it falls apart and becomes hydrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and it can be used other ways. Sounds people are using to communicate, or they're like other bodily sounds. You know, when we're flatulating, we're not trying to communicate, although it does sometimes sort of communicate a message to someone. But there's some sound on purpose that's being used in that whooping. Either I'm here, or where are you, or like radar for sensing. It's perhaps part of their optical sensing system, like bats do with radar, using sound to see where they're going. So I've always been, I have been interested in those sounds in particular. And why are they doing it? We don't know why they're doing it, but once we know why they're doing it, we may know what they're saying. There may be micro tremors, tiny tremors in those whoops where they mean something. In forensic sciences, voices are measured studied using PSE, psychological stress evaluation, and voice stress analysis, VSA. And measuring these micro tremors, which are 2 10,000ths of a second, is the highest resolution.
See, let me interrupt you just for a second, Jim.
Yes.
David, could you send Jeff another couple of like extraordinary recordings that you do have that are just, Bigfoot craziness? And then would you be willing to get Jim a bunch of your select recordings?
Oh, sure.
Or if you have already the 8,500, send them all of them.
Yeah.
Be fascinating because Jim, he does work on kind of a micro level. He just God knows what he could end up adding to this mystery. I know he's interested in it.
Sure.
Jim?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So
I'm more interested in supplying useful tools to others.
Yeah, well,
than taking it on as a solo project. I always like playing in a band more than playing a solo trombone.
I have a feeling though that you could add something to our knowledge base.
I was going to ask David, could he make anything? There was a question in the chat. I guess that's why I'm asking. from Steve about, could you say anything about the rhythmic quality of the whoops that we heard? You know, all of those whoops, that the 3 or 4 that we heard, seem to be coming in a pattern.
I think they were looped.
That question. And I had the same.
Oh yeah, they were looped. Yeah, I loop individual cuts. That's because quite often when I would play somebody a individual whoop, they will go, "Could you play that for me again?" Right. And I found that it takes at least 3 times hearing it before your mind starts to kick in. Right. And so I gave it an extra 2. So I usually loop things 5 times so that you can kind of wrap your mind around what you're hearing.
Got it.
And I forgot to mention too, when I heard that whoop and I was cutting off my friends, it was totally hey guys, there's someone back here, you know, just a heads up. That's the way because I there's 3 guys over here and I just cut through and it was whoop, and then I hit the trail. So it felt like a heads up. Here he comes.
Yeah, exactly. Like a warning.
Yeah.
I am when I have heard it in the field, I'm usually startled. It's like a surprise. Yeah, so I don't know if they're gauging my reaction, if they're close enough to see me, or if it is a communication to another one that, hey, we have company. Usually that happens with a wood knock. There was one location when we would go there or when we would leave, if they were present, they would knock when we were arriving, or they would knock when we were leaving. Yeah. And sometimes both. But yeah, I can go find a few more just for fun files. Give me about 15 minutes or so. I'll be back.
Okay. David will be back. So what do you think these things are? Flat? What are they?
Well, everyone starts out flesh and blood, right? Everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm in the middle, I guess. The more encounters you hear, it just gets weirder and weirder. And I've heard things around the camp stomping around, breaking sticks 10, 15 feet away, and you shine a light and there's nothing there. I don't know what they are, Doug.
Yeah. None of us do.
No. Beats me. But I think there's more to it than just a relic hominid or an ape. I really do.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, the simplest answer is they're just some type of a near human ape. That's the most
I do believe that
easy.
They have a lot of human DNA from just DNA testing and all that.
Yeah, I think this next round of DNA tests is going to also prove they're 98, 99% human. I'm just not going to allow them to say it's contamination anymore. It's going to be, no, you need to just study the part that didn't match. That's what we need to look at.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe they're the original humans and we are the hybrids.
What do you know about DNA, Jim? We're, I guess more specifically, the samples keep coming back. Oh, gee, it's like 99% human. It must be contamination. Can't they drill down into the stuff that doesn't match?
Yeah, there's a lot of work going on in doing exactly that, and it's not published on a regular basis. Some of the really interesting deep levels. By the way, the microscope that we use in our audio affecting the plants analysis is an atomic force microscope called an ATM.
Wow.
And you're able to look at DNA. And that's not what we do on a moment-to-moment basis, but a lot of people get better at the microscope process you're doing by meeting with other microscope users. It's kind of a musician's guild. So I have come to know the elements of modifying DNA with a system called CRISPR that we've done a number of simulations. When I was in the supercomputer timeshare business, we did simulations. What was the potential that could be predicted? And we weren't the ones doing the predicting. We were just supplying the mixer, the supercomputer, which was a formidable computer at the time, by the way, considered. So some of the feedback that I got, what I came to understand was that the ability to modify itself, DNA's ability to modify itself, is far grander than we may know of what ribonucleic acids can do, short-term instructions, RNA. And long-term instructions, DNA, that those short-term instructions can feed information to DNA like a CRISPR system does. CRISPR is a electro-optical device, tweezers that can take DNA apart and re-put it back together and make something else. The ultimate GMO, not ultimate. If the dangers of it at this point when you don't know things far exceed the probable or possible benefits. So it still is a danger zone. But I think that one of the real keys to communication is going to be with DNA because of the following breakthrough. There was a point to this long story, is that the WISE laboratory at MIT, it's a joint lab, MIT and Harvard, has discovered how to make a device, and they do make the device that you can store a movie, 2-hour movie, on a series of DNA coils. And that it's just such a tiny bit. You think that a SD card is tiny, to hold 200 gigabytes on a thing smaller than a postage stamp. Well, way more information than that can be stored on 6 strands of DNA.
How many gigabytes?
It's so readily. How many gigabytes?
How many gigabytes or terabytes can be stored?
Terabytes. It's thousands of gigabytes, which is terabytes. So the machine to write it and the machine to read it are under $10,000.
Wow.
And the untold future of AI is that those are the kind of things that people that are deeply involved in biomechanical engineering, atomic level biomechanical engineering, are the people that are going, okay, let's work on this, but let's don't tell anybody because people will be mad at us. Because, look at the shit people take for just working on GMO, for modifying corn. And I'm not saying anything for or against that. That's not particularly my area. I work more in totally in organic and non-chemical agriculture solutions. But I do understand what the other side is doing and why they believe it's healthy and useful. Very well, it may not be repeatedly like they hope.
Well, I think it's going to be very useful in medical research, particularly
absolutely
research. It is being used. CRISPR is being used. In theory, you could potentially change the DNA makeup of say you're born with a gene that codes for cancer. So the so-called breast cancer associated.
Yes.
So could you potentially take a fertilized ovum, change the DNA to take out the breast cancer associated gene, put that back in, and eliminate the familial risk of breast and ovarian cancer.
And that is the promise of personal medicine. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're exactly right. So I have interest over in these areas, and I go and read and chew on it as much as I can. I'm really immersed in the bioacoustic stimulation of ATP and mitochondria. That's my day job, so to say. So it doesn't leave me much time for one of my favorite passions, which is watching cartoons. I love Rick and Morty, by the way, for any of you that might watch cartoons.
Yeah, I'm a big fan too.
Yeah. So DNA is scary.
It's so
when
powerful.
I first became aware of CRISPR, it was when we were doing some testing some samples over in New Mexico, and some people that were over there working on their project were doing a hybrid of hamster and strawberries.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Oh, geez. And the creature that looked like a squid, had little eyes and a little face on it, a little red and little textures and things that I couldn't even look at it. I didn't see it. I mean, I was looking at the imagery of it, and it startled me. It sickened me. It made me sick to my stomach. Just knowing what it was and then seeing this. If what the story was that was being told, this is really what I was looking at. I had no reason not to think that it was. There's some important things about our future that lives in understanding extraterrestrials and understanding whether it's a Blessed Virgin Mary or avatars or life after death or jumping in and out of the body or lucid dreaming. All those things are connected somehow. And there's a couple of them that'll be the linchpins where all of a sudden it kind of all unfolds. And I think that most likely that Bigfoot does live here on the earth, and that Bigfoot is a linchpin. For understand that, all these other things will fall into place of understanding. And I don't really have any reason to believe that. It's just what I sense and what I hunch is that we're trying to understand what's going on with Bigfoot, not just to understand yet another thing in the paranormal realm. Lay them all out like a whole row of hot dogs. Pick any one of them. They're all interesting. Well, this one is more than just interesting. I think it's a linchpin. I think the understanding of some things about Bigfoot is mission critical to all the things that go on, whether it's in world politics or whether it's as Nostradamus, something to be reckoned with, or, a thousand other things. I don't want to start naming them all off. But I'm interested in the sounds because it's the database that I have access to these days, and some things that I've discovered about the atomic level sounds that plants and molecules make. 2 years ago, and I thought I was, right in the midst of all of it, supercomputers and their work and our work, and it's all blended together. And then I come to realize, well, no, that wasn't that high end at all. This is what's high end. This mystery beings that have consciousness. And when it repeats enough times over and over and over again, people seeing them, people listening to them, people recording, there's something to get a hold of and get patterns. Look at, you were just talking just now. So I went, hey, we zoom into that. Patterns, loop it, but it turned out to be looping, but it's still, sometimes you have to loop something in order to catch the pattern and to see it living down in there. So I don't know if I answered a question or did I ask and answer my own question? What was the question? Okay.
Well, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Eric had mentioned that they're maybe starting to discover that our memories are not stored in our brain.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah,
comments? there?
I've done some studies about that myself that you may be interested in. Is that a question?
Yeah. What do you think?
Years ago, I was involved in the work of Bruce Copen and radionics equipment that, like the Royal Rife equipment, matches up frequencies for constructive and destructive in the human body and does things with frequencies in the body. As all part of that came an understanding of what information you can get from a drop of blood. And about 10 years ago, I had the realization in an instant, wait a minute, audio tape is chromium oxide and iron oxide. And chromium oxide and iron oxide is what's in our blood. Sending information around, talking, really setting the form and the format for the perineural system. And I just couldn't get over it. That audio tape and videotape are iron oxide and chromium oxide, and that's what's in our blood. And is the information that we're going at and really dealing with disease as an information, DNA, RNA, CRISPR rifling, where the essence will all of a sudden unfold, and that's the pharmacology, possibly. I don't want to.
Are you saying blood would have memory?
Yeah, blood has memory. As a point of my story, I said at the beginning, is that my studies, a couple of them were short-term projects because I run a rock and roll touring business and working in recording music and in science and supercomputer businesses. You know, we're lucky I didn't have a heart attack and a stroke. Oh, wait a minute, I did. Okay. In 99, I had a heart attack and a stroke, and that was a few years to recover. But the idea that memory is in the blood, not in the brain, but that the light from the eyes and the movement through the brain system is that reading the tape, reading the information, and so maybe we've got some solid state RAM in the brain also. But there may be other creatures that are more adapted to us, that they've got more advanced elements of some of this than we do. I don't know. It's possible.
No, I don't think there's any doubt that memory is in the DNA. You could use the same analogy that I gave a while ago, that if you are in a family that carries the gene for breast and ovarian cancer, so you carry that gene, and you are therefore at extreme risk for those cancers. Why couldn't you therefore carry a gene that put you at risk for certain behaviors or certain memories? Yes. Absolutely you could. So there's no doubt in my mind that DNA, which is present in every cell of your body, is or carries some of that information that we call memory.
Yes.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it is.
And haven't they learned that memories are passed down from mother to child on through the DNA, actual memories?
Yeah. I've heard that part too from the
fascinating.
There's another side to the DNA Stanford project, and that's the Kyoto project in Japan, studying other layers and combinations of programming in the DNA and how does it get back and forth and what does it do. Like I said, I'm busy studying plants and making music, but if any of you can accelerate this information, send it to me, even telepathically. I'm all ears, please. So patterns in the sound, patterns in the acoustic, DNA analysis of any hair samples. Those things are all linchpins for contributing to a bigger understanding of how us humans can be better at being human and act better to each other.
Do you know some really good DNA labs, Jim?
Yeah, there's a number of them, even in Phoenix, Arizona. It depends on what you're doing it for.
University of Arizona in Tucson is terrific.
Yeah, is and TGen.
But my question is, if I was to pay them, I've got some more samples. I've given a lot to NC State, some to some other labs. But if you have a lab and a strategy for getting some really good samples tested, God, let me know.
You know, that's the problem, is getting the lab to actually do that work, because some of them just won't touch, you know, anything associated with Bigfoot.
I recently had one of the best labs in the world turn me down. They were all excited. And then I got the death letter saying, you know, once they found out it was Bigfoot and it got passed on to the CEO or whoever, I got the blow-off letter.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, one of the main companies that has industrialized DNA analysis is the company 23andMe, which is kind of a maverick, you know, out there in the world. They're the genetic opposite of Ancestry.com, and there's nothing wrong with them. I mean, they got what they're doing, and they're
yeah, but you need a saliva sample in order to send it to 23andMe. They're not going to accept the hair or blood.
Other ways.
Pardon?
And that's their public approach. They have a number of other people working on their process that are interested in these kind of things and ways of lifting DNA off of clubs and rocks that might have been handled. So the method for extracting and multiplying DNA out of a small sample is with a device that's also inexpensive called PCR, polymerase chain reaction. A PCR unit's only a couple $1,000, and you can go into someone and have them do it for you for $100, $200, or if they take it on as a project, it's like, you know, jamming in a band instead of playing a gig. You like doing it, so you do it with others.
You know, Jim, it's fascinating. When I was training, you know, in the 1980s, PCR was just becoming a thing.
Yeah.
And in those days, you know, a PCR machine was pushing $1 million.
$1 million, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so you couldn't run a PCI test. You know, you had to get approval to run it because it was
right.
expensive.
Because, you know, it's fear of the Frankenstein effect. You know, what are we accidentally making and releasing into the laboratory?
Strawberry hamsters.
Yeah, strawberry hamsters. There's sea monkeys all over, dehydrated, just waiting to get out.
Nightmare.
Yeah. Yep, you're right. A lot of sea monkey eggs.
Does anyone know who bought 23andMe?
They filed bankruptcy for reorganization. So the woman and her friends that funded it and got it going are figuring out how to keep it afloat. But I don't think that they're criminals at all. Nor do I think that they're mismanaging their money. I just think that the project was bigger than their skill set, as happens to people all the time, including me. You know, you dream up a project and find people to work on it with you, and it takes a lot to make it happen.
Yeah.
And so you go, I might not have done this right way today. Well, anyhow,
they just didn't have a good business model for it. They didn't know what their product was worth when they started, so they undercharged for it without realizing how much information could come from that.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
And
gold mine.
It's interesting, the Wise Laboratory, not to be confused with almost the similar spelling of the Weiss Miniature Camera Company. It's WYSE. SE versus WYSS. And WYSS is selling kits to people that want to store movies on DNA. Licensing. They're licensing. So it's not that anyone wants to go out and do that. It's that if you can do that now, you're going to be able to do some pretty credible things in 1, 2, 5, 10 years.
Yeah, at some point there'll be like a printer,
right?
You know, where you get them for $50
Right.
and then you spend $100 on the cartridge
Right.
for your own desktop DNA testing. It's coming.
Yeah.
It is coming. David, did you have any luck?
Yeah, I sent an email to Jeff.
Yeah, I got him here.
Oh, well.
What do you want to hear?
Just play whatever. Just bounce around.
Let's start out with a known. I like to compare known sounds to unknown sounds.
Yeah.
Cruising along on the internet one day, looking for more information regarding Daniel Boone having harvested or shot a Yahoo. And just to see if there was any more about the story. I had heard the story.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody that's interested in Bigfoot has heard the story as well. Supposedly Daniel Boone surprised a Bigfoot type creature and shot it. And that's the story or the myth. So
And
I
it
was
ran
looking
away.
yeah,
Or something like that.
yeah. So I'm looking on the internet, and up pops a YouTube video called Wahoo, the Baboon Bark. And I'm going, boy, that sounds interesting. I got to check this out. So I went on YouTube and listened to the sound. Also, it's a video, but in this circumstance, it's just the audio you're going to hear. But it sounds like, it's going, Wahoo, Wahoo. And I thought that was kind of interesting going, I've recorded that. And so let's play the baboon bark. This is a known sound.
Okay, got it ready to go here.
Oh, I'm sorry. You've got the comparison going.
I thought that was baboon bark. Oh, did I pick the wrong one here? Hold on a second. Here we go. Hold on.
It's just the baboon bark.
All right. Here we go.
So after watching that video go, I know I've recorded that here in the Northwest, and we don't have baboons near as I can tell. So yeah, let's play that 3, the baboon bark and unknown comparison. So this is a 5-time loop. What you'll hear is the baboon bark first, and then you'll hear what I recorded here in the Pacific Northwest. And that'll loop 5 times.
Wow.
Pretty close.
Yeah. You think? So you recorded that yourself, David?
I did, yes. Yeah, it's to me, I may be biased, but I can clearly hear a wahoo in.
I heard that.
How did the spectrograms compare to the baboon to what you recorded?
Not very close, surprisingly, but
okay.
After thinking about it, there's not too much in our suspicious voice analysis that do come close, and that's why it's good to have a visual, because our mind tells us what we hear. Our ears are the receptors, but our mind tells us. So it's extremely unreliable. And that is exactly why you need a visual. But To answer your question directly, Doug, there are some similarities enough that you can tell that they are similar. Not from the same character, but they are similar.
Yeah, just superficially, they're very similar.
Right.
Yeah.
So, David,
Right.
did you get those from the Olympic Peninsula? Is that where those came from?
I did. Yes.
Jeff, you got something else?
I'm sorry. Which one you want to play next?
Well, I picked up a clip that's mimicry, but let's start with the one that goes RO9_0058. Okay. So let me set this up first. I'm with my wife and our dog and a witness that I've been working with over the years, and we are in an area that we have had repeated activity. I had at the time a bionic dish and a recorder going. My wife and the dog and the witness walked ahead of me. I wanted to see if anything would follow them, and sure enough, I did pick up something following them in the brush. And so as they continue to walk, I continue to walk, and I finally catch up to them, and the dog is panting, and she's kind of making a racket. And so the witness looks at me and he says, "Do you want me to leash her up?" And I'm going, "Yeah," because I'm following something in the brush and I want to keep my attention on it. So he gets the leash and he calls her and he says, "Come here, Kaya." And from the brush, immediately in response is, "Come here, Kaya." I mean, you can tell it is definitely trying to sound like the witness that just called the dog. But you can clearly hear it in the recording. So let's try that one.
Come here, Kaya. Come here, Kaya. Come here, Kaya. Come here, Kaya.
So that came from the brush.
That came from the brush.
Wow. What are your thoughts, Jim?
Well, it's all very interesting. Every time there's a new sound, my mind makes a bigger database to put it all in. The database of sounds and environmental and bioacoustic sounds at Cornell is
Right.
massive.
I use that library.
Yeah.
The Macaulay Library of Sound. Absolutely.
Yeah. Right. And it's a good way to do pattern comparisons and pattern detection. There's a guy named Bernie Krause. Used to have a band, a synthesizer band in the 70s called Beaver and Krause. And they did ambient pastoral music and flutes and synthesizers and Tyler drums. And he's become the pioneer of getting sound from nature, whether it's whales or crows, seeing if they recognize each other's sounds. When you put a hydrophone in the water and play the sound of a crow and see if whales do anything, and thousands of other kinds of tests. So when I hear that new sound, it's all new to me. So I don't know what to compare it to other than the birds and the bugs that I deal with in agriculture, and the gift being that plants grow better if you have not just the sounds of thunder and lightning and drums and rattles from rattlesnakes, if you have birds and bugs. What birds and bugs? Oh, the ones from your area. What happens if you use from other areas? All those tests. It's meaningful. So there may be Bigfoot doing sounds that are different from one place to another, like different languages or different sounds. And some of the other sounds that you have there, all to me, I mean, I see the giant 2 billion sounds in the sky database that can, at the speed of thought, compare them all and say, oh, look at this pattern that's in this. That same pattern is over here in beluga whales when they're calling somebody else to come way over here to look for food or whatever. So it's like phonemes in human languages. We have different languages. We have Portuguese, we have Spanish, we have Manganese, we have English. We may be saying totally different words that aren't even related. But there are certain beats and certain patterns that you can isolate them throughout different cultures and say, oh, this guy's mad. Oh, this one's trying to court someone, and many other things. And maybe that's what is going on, is that they're all saying something to each other, doing something. I'm just making all this up as I go along right now. I mean,
you're doing a good job, Jim. Jeff, do you have any other sounds that are, or David? Because we're gonna wrap it up here quick.
Okay.
Is there anything else that's amazing?
Well,
that mimicry was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I've got another one. If we want to hear another mimicry,
sure.
That's
like to wrap the show up in 6 minutes here, so let's
0225. That's Greg calls Layla, and then a voice mimics. So sticking on the subject of mimicry, this is another one, and it's also related to a dog. It will say the dog's name, so you will clearly hear Greg call for Layla, his dog, and then something on the other side of the house that was further away from the recorder captured something that says, that's Layla. And so he's calling his dog, come here, Layla. And from the forest comes, that's Layla.
Wow.
So, yeah.
All right, here we go.
Is that the recording, David?
Yeah. It's Greg calling Layla, and then something in the background says it's Layla. You might want to turn it up, Jeff. I don't know if you have that.
I think I'm turning up as much as I can. Yeah, I think I'm at max volume here. I'll play it again. I can hear it, but it's really quiet. Right after he talks, you can hear it, but I'll play it again here.
Yeah, that clip's not working for us. Go ahead. Jeff, can you just play another sound and David can tell you what it is? Speak a different one. We'll do it. We're going to do this in reverse.
Okay, I originally thought I had recorded some wood knocking going on, but that is only part of what was going on. When I got a chance to review it visually with a sonic visualizer, I could see huffs and grunts and other mouth pop type sounds visually. I could identify those in that sound barrage that we just heard. I had a witness that was 25 feet away from a Sasquatch looking at him. He heard this audio clip on another show that I had done and wrote me and said, David, that is exactly what I heard the Sasquatch do. And he was 25 feet away. So they have the capacity of doing mouth pops, tongue clicks, and combining it with grunts in a speech-like type pattern. And I have maybe 25 or 30 clips of this type of sound from all over North America. So this is a thing. This is something that they do and communicate with.
Well, that could be a hit record.
Is there anything else, Jeff, you can play quick?
Along those lines, do the JC11.
Okay, got it right here.
Okay, this is more tongue clicks and mouth pops. It looks like it stopped.
I don't know why. Try it again. Well, that's weird. It just locked up on me. I have no idea why.
Try Tilda, the orangutan percussive speech.
Okay.
This is an orangutan. So this is a known creature.
Wow, I've
Sounded
never
like
heard
there's
that.
a whistle in there.
Oh yeah,
that sounds an awful lot like samurai gibberish. I mean, kind of the same patterns.
Yeah, that's an orangutan in a German zoo that the handlers thought it was trying to imitate speech patterns, using pops and clicks for consonants and the huffs and grunts for vowels.
Wow, that's a cool clip. I think that's all I got.
That's it? Okay.
I think so. I think we played them all.
We didn't, but that's okay. That's all right.
I'm sorry. What I missed? Which one? Let's see.
Well, it's probably not going to make too much sense. It's kind of all jumbled up. I'd rather do it in a progression where we could kind of make sense out of it. And Doug, you said you need to get going anyway. So
yeah, we should probably wrap it up here.
Yeah, we're at 3 hours here.
We've been on 3 hours and 10. But I want to thank all you guys.
Gosh, thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, Doug.
What's the last word, Flat? What's your last words?
You ready for this? This is your fault. Do you remember this?
Oh God!
And I got the lobster sandals too.
Oh my God! I love it. Oh my
So
God.
that's my last words.
I love it. We sold something.
You did. I actually bought the little thermal that was the size of a quarter. You showed months ago, and
That's awesome.
I lost it already.
That's awesome. Rusty or William, what do you got? What's your last word here?
You know, I don't have anything as fun as Flat does, but you know,
$3 on Temu.
There you go. Right. I could talk to Jim and David here for 2 or 3 hours more if we wanted
I
to.
know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Thank you. Thank you
My
for coming on.
pleasure.
Yeah,
Thanks,
I could
guys.
talk. I could do this all night, but my body's going, nope. We're done. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Jim, for all of your very extraordinary
pleasure.
insight. And David has got to get you a whole bunch of recordings just to get your opinion, and maybe you can add something to this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unravel this mystery.
Absolutely. I'd love to have Jim.
There is just so
peruse.
everybody knows there is only one Jim Deltoso. Only
Huh.
one.
Yep.
One of a kind.
There's no other guy
kind of you to
like
say.
in the world. Yeah.
So who's that guy sitting on my couch when I get home?
All right, we make room for you.
The split personality.
Yeah. And Jeff, thank you for all the commotion and
Oh yeah, thank you so much.
Crazy.
I'm so glad everybody else was talking so much because I've been hacking up a storm here. So
yeah, you guys are awesome.
Yeah,
Flat,
thank
you're
you so
welcome
much.
to come back anytime.
yeah, thanks. Guys.
William,
Thanks.
come back anytime. It
fun.
was great. You guys were wonderful. And was this your first podcast?
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh no. I've been on some other, particularly
yeah, okay.
Alabama podcasts, Alabama Bigfoot podcasts. I've done a few
great.
of those.
Oh, okay. How about you, Flat? First time?
Yeah. First time.
Oh, great. Well,
Awesome.
you-
Thanks for
I
coming on.
figured out my camera as I went. So
yeah, no,
Yeah,
great.
now you know how to do it. Yeah, you're all
Yeah.
locked in.
You're officially a
David-
power rookie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Power rookie.
I had fun. Hopefully people like the show. David, thank
I
you
love
so
this show.
much.
Yeah.
Yep.
we're going to leave everybody with a little bit of wisdom, and go ahead and play that, Jeff, and then come back and we'll say our final.
Hold on a second here.
It says, remember to act and behave as what you want is already at hand. And just maybe through positive thinking, the universe may just rearrange itself, and you'll end up with it. It's so true.
I like it.
Positive thinking, you'd be surprised we can manifest our own future. So with that, good night to our amazing live audience. We'll be back here next week.
Thanks.
If you guys like the show at all, leave us a thumbs up. You can subscribe. You can hit the notification bell. We'd really appreciate it. And we will see you all next week. Same time, same channel.
Hey.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
I call you up in the middle of the night. Been bothered by dreams, ain't feeling alright. You give me comfort, say just give it some time. By the end of our talk, I'm feeling just fine. You and I will always know where we belong. This ain't no ordinary love we got going on. I'll pick you up in my 59 Ford. We head on down the road until we get bored. Just you and me and the sun and the wind. If the rain should stop falling, we'll head on home again. Everybody else can see where we belong. Oh, ain't no ordinary love we got going on. At the end of the world, together forever is one, and I'll wait. If ever you should be in doubt, and I pray they never can pull us apart, and I'll wait for the time when we'll be together every day. But I know if ever we'll be led astray, that I'll find my way back home to you again. At the end of the world, together forever is one, and I'll wait. If ever you should be in doubt, and I pray they never can pull us apart, and I